Third time's the charm, as they say. Oh,
All right, take us live, Wes.
'73, Gray Area 73.
Well. Would you look at that? All right, we need you guys to do one thing before we get started.
Repost.
Repost. We want as many people in here tonight as possible because tonight is a special stream. You guys have no idea.
All right.
Tell them about it.
All right. You tell them a little bit about what's going on, because right now we have like a documentary film crew doing a special piece on us for Danish media.
It's camera inception. You guys can't see, but there's a camera behind the camera.
We got 2 microphones. We're plugged in. We're dialed up. It's crazy.
This is crazy. Very surreal moment. But you know what? We got to give our family, the Gray Area family, the prop, because you guys are the reason why the algorithm has been pushing. You guys are responsible for this new message that has been being pushed, and we are starting this change.
Yeah, no, it's really cool that through a gift of the algorithm, these wonderful people were able to find us and to do this piece. They're trying to cover like the independent spirit of media, kind of the more like anti-government, less so libertarian, more just so pro-American and like what we stand for as a show, Gray Area,
100%,
which is, you know, meeting in the middle, kind of a radical centrism where we take from the left where it works, we take from the right where it works. But more than that, we're not loyal to any of these, you know, labels, right? When I hear a Democrat or left wing or Republican or right wing, I just hear, you know, 2 wings of the same bird.
Yes, we do.
And
yes, we do.
That's a common critique, but just because it's a common critique doesn't make it not valid. And what we're waking up to right now, whether it's the news we cover or the guests that we interview or the information that we share, it's all about very obvious facts that we all should know, and we're lied to about them. That's why you do the deep dive.
That's
right?
exactly why we do the deep dive. And one of the biggest things that we got to talk about that is causing all of the problems, national debt.
The money.
And we got to figure out where that money's going, what it even means. And this wasn't something that I came up with. It came from you guys as the audience. There was a suggestion. I want to say it was 2 streams ago, and they said, hey, I would really be curious to learn about how national debt works, what's actually going on with that. And I was like, I'll make it my mission to do that. So I saved it for this episode. I love you guys. I'm really going to go hard. Also,
we got a lot of news.
But before that, we're going to be playing a game tonight.
Uh-oh.
It's game show night.
It's Kahoot night.
All right.
You remember school?
So. Yeah, you guys remember high school. We're going to be playing this game via Kahoot. It'll come up, but if you guys are watching now, what I need you guys to do is you either need to find like a second device. Maybe you got a laptop. Maybe you got a phone, iPad or something. Because I know some people like to watch on their phone. It's going to be hard to do both. But the top 3 winners are going to be winning some legendary merchandise. Rex,
This
tell 'em about
merchandise was literally at the office. Okay, if you want something that's been in the legendary building and not just the Bigley Fulfillment Center, then you want to be a part of this game show tonight. You want to compete. You want to win.
Never worn, vintage. You can't
brand new.
You can't buy the stuff anymore, guys.
Very true.
It's very true.
If you
So
want it, we got it. You just got to win for it.
just got to win for it. All right, so let's get into the news.
Well, we got the peace president, the president of peace, and we cover him. He's a frequent topic on the show, especially since the war started. Okay, we got the president of peace to cover, and he's tweeting out deranged stuff about nuclear attacks, about attacking Iran. And it looks like that's finally going to happen. We've got Saudi Arabia that reportedly, whether it's true, whether it's a false flag or a green flag operation, they're claiming they've been hit by 3 drones insinuating Iran or somebody loyal to Iran. And they say they reserve the right to respond. So let's go ahead and pull up the, we go to the top of the Google Doc here.
Yeah.
Yeah, click on Trump warns Iran clock is ticking as peace negotiations stall. So, Wes, if you want to throw to this one. Trump warns Iran clock is ticking as peace negotiations stall. A million different advertisements, of course.
Get that out of the way.
That. For Iran, the clock is ticking, and they better get moving fast, or there won't be anything left of them. Time is of the essence, the president wrote in a Truth Social post. Last week, the president rejected Iran's latest response to the White House's peace proposal, calling it totally unacceptable after Tehran asked to separate nuclear talks from peace negotiations. Since the onset of the war, alongside Israel in February, you mean when Israel took us to the war, like Rubio said, Trump has urged Tehran to abandon its nuclear enrichment program. How many times have we heard that? How many times do we need to hear that, Tim?
Hey, they're almost gonna have a nuclear weapon, Rex.
47 years. The war's been going on for 8 weeks, but it's also been going on for 47 years. It's insane.
It's an excursion. It's a vacation.
That's right. We're being racist.
Get it right.
It's not a war.
Stop being
It's a
racist, bro.
vacation.
Come on,
it's a
stop it.
vacation. It's not a war. It's an excursion. All this pretty language. Earlier Sunday, Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu spoke on the phone. What are they planning? What's going on there? I think that we're fully aware of that. Go ahead and scroll down a little bit more.
Yep.
The 2 leaders, per Netanyahu in an Israel cabinet meeting, were set to discuss the conflict in the Middle East as well as Trump's recent visit to China. Trump and Chinese President Xi also discussed the war during a high-stake meeting, with the latter offering to help try to bring about an end to the war, according to the U.S. president. You know the problem with help? When somebody helps you, they always want something on the other side. That's the way help works, Trump said in an interview with Fox News' Brett Baier, stating he told his Chinese counterpart, "We don't need any help." What do you think about that?
We don't need any help.
Well, someone say,
I really am at a loss for words for that, because just not too long ago we were like, Europe, we need you guys. Europe, we need you guys to come clear the strait, because there's all of these mines and ships floating around, and we need you guys. We started this, but we need you guys to finish
right
it.
now you're involved, and that's the crazy thing is, like, you would think that being an ally of America keeps you safe, but it's almost fatal to be a friend.
Yeah, and here's the thing that I cut back to us, Wes, real quick. Here's one thing that I have had to come to terms with, and that we don't quite understand here. Okay?
Right.
Speaking with people around the world, every single decision that we make has a butterfly effect, guys. Like, people are literally struggling and having impacts to their entire economy because we make a decision. It's like we pretend like there's no, like we have like this tunnel vision, and that every single decision, it doesn't matter. It's in our best interest. So it's pretty selfish of us if I think so. And it's not just us as Americans. I'm talking about our government here.
Well, yeah, and see, now Tim is being racist by criticizing the dear leader, but it's 110% true. So I want to go to this. I had to verify that this was real. It is real, by the way. President Trump posts image appearing to depict a nuclear strike.
That was him putting that there?
Yeah, we're going to verify with Grok right now live. I literally put it into the computer, and it told me it was real earlier. So, is real.
Did it come from his...
True Social?
Yeah.
Is it posted by Trump? I already did this, so I know that it is, but it's so insane that we have to triple verify.
That ain't a joke. This isn't a joke.
Yeah.
Nuclear war should never be one of those things that's a laughing matter, because if one person messes up, we're all cooked.
Right. And I think that's definitely something that we've forgotten.
100%.
Okay, it was not posted by Trump. All right, cut that out.
All right.
We're not going to show that.
I am so glad that he did not do
I
that.
can show you the X log where it told me it was real. Let's go to the real Trump tweet. For Iran, the clock is ticking and they better get moving fast or there won't be anything left of them. Time is of the essence. What do you think about that? Are we going back to war, Tim?
Going back to war. The war was relatively quiet for like the last 3 weeks, if you think about it. And now we're kind of like right back into the swing of things. Like it didn't, like we just all forgot. But that's just because we didn't forget, but that's just because there was less missiles.
Right. So with the conflict, it's just in this state as to where when people, you know, we've had numerous people on the show, whether it's the Quartering, whether it's Andrew Wilson, I've also done other like Spaces debates on this. And what they'll say is, I'm not a fan of the war. I don't support the war, but I support my president. I support my quarterback, my dear leader, President Donald J. Trump, because, hey, if it was the Democrats, it would be a million times worse. And that means we can't criticize them. That means we got to win in the midterms. Well, if that's the case, then your coalition is weak. You have no coalition. You can't actually get anything done. We have to be able to be critical, right?
Every single person that holds that position, if it was Biden, if it was Gavin Newsom, if it was Kamala Harris, they would all be up in arms. X would be exploding with the Democrats are crazy. This is wild. How dare they? It's hypocrisy. And I'll criticize the left the same way that I criticize the right, but we already know who's in the driver's seat and where that destination is heading. We're on a road to hell, man.
Yeah, we're off the rails is the expression, and there aren't any brakes on this train. And really, the only brake is designed right now is the Supreme Court.
we got people saying in the chat, I'm voting Dem.
Yeah,
well, they're on the Nick Fuentes train.
So let me explain a little bit to our audience and also to the film crew that's here. When people say that, when people say they're going to vote Democrat, people on the right that have been saying that, people like Fuentes and others, they're specifically talking about the 2026 midterm election, right? Because Trump has made this huge thing, and we're going to cover it and get into Massey and all of it later on in the News Blitz. Trump has made this huge thing about if you're not with me, then you're not MAGA. MAGA actually doesn't mean, you know, these values of liberty, the Constitution, freedom, like we talked about. Yeah. It actually means whatever I say. And you got all these independent candidates up against that monster now. How do you think they're going to do?
You know what's hard? 90% of elections are decided by who has the biggest pockets.
Yes.
I mean, you're literally buying your way into a seat, and that's a huge problem. And the reason why that's a huge problem, guys, is because it's no longer like a merit-based thing. It's who you know, what they're willing to pay to get you in the seat, and then what favors you're going to do for them on the back end once you get in.
And I mean, we're going to take a look at Ed Gowron, who's a pretty extreme example of that. Now, on paper, the guy, like Trump literally said, and he likes people that are like this, straight out of central casting. And what does that mean? It means that he looks like or might be an actor, ladies and gentlemen. And that's because you're lived there for 4 generations, you're a farmer, you're a Navy SEAL. How do you not vote for that guy, right? Well, it's very simple. That guy receives tens of millions of dollars in funding that is from outside of that district of Kentucky. And the people giving that money aren't interested in the people that live there or what they actually
want. The biggest part with voting, it really is generally an older population that is paying attention to these elections and actually voting in these local elections. And so the problem is when you have this large budget and those people are still probably getting most of their content and their news from like mainstream media.
Right.
You watch Fox, they're going to put every smear campaign out against Thomas Massey. They're not on X. You know how many people I actually realized are not on X?
Oh, dude, most of them.
Right. So we're in our own mini echo chamber here on X. Like if you're not looking at the rest of all of these things, a lot of these people are actually getting their stuff from Facebook too. Imagine the amount of ad spend and the campaigns that go out, and they have no idea what Thomas Massey's real positions are because it's not X.
The most basic way to cast a magic spell is to just say the same thing over and over and over again, and then eventually you speak it into reality. That's why Trump says Iran must never have a nuclear weapon. Because if he says it 10,000 times, then that means that we're going to have to move the military in because they can't have a nuclear weapon, even if it's not true. You see how that works? That's how it works in the elections as well. They have AI videos we're going to get into. Wes, you may have to find it. I don't think I linked to it in the doc. They have AI videos they're running as trailers against Thomas Massie, showing him with Ilhan Omar and AOC. He's not with those people.
Yeah, and you know what they're doing? They're just piggybacking off of the anger of everything that happened in Minnesota. Wait. Before we jump to that, can we look at this picture here? I don't even think we commented on it.
Yeah, no. So this is real. Okay, this is confirmed. Suleiman doesn't post things that aren't.
Okay, so what do you make of this? This seems like America is going to invade
the Middle East. It belongs to. It really should be the Israeli flag. To be honest, and then maybe like it could be the Israeli flag. Like Australia has like the British one. We can be in the corner. It could be like little, or vice versa. We could be big and they could be little. But like that's he's just like look. He's like we have a lot of red lines, big beautiful red. It only takes a little red to close down Iran, to invade. And those lines of red are hundreds of thousands of troops. That's what it would actually require to have military victory in Iran, ladies and gentlemen. Spoiler alert, that ain't gonna happen. Okay, and that's why Ed Gallerin, this guy running against Massie, you know what he supports?
What does he support?
He supports the draft.
That's crazy.
People are gonna vote for a guy that supports the draft over a guy.
Hey, I got my passport. I'm Mexico or Canada bound, baby.
Well, listen,
probably Canada, but Canada's not doing too well either.
Maybe they'll just go nuclear and we'll all have a fun time, and we'll just vaporize. No, and that's the thing is like a conventional war is honestly like not even the worst thing that could happen, and that's why people are like, it's gonna be over. Trump's gonna solve it all, and I'm just like, how do you know that? How are you able to make such predictions? There's about 1 million ways this could go. Maybe there is new COVID 2000.
New COVID 2000.
Now, hantavirus.
Before we get in, what else are we doing here?
Trump threatens to invade. Trump and Netanyahu have a war meeting. That one's pretty short. Just let's show all the Trump posts really quick. We can show that one really quick. Justin Axios reports Trump and Netanyahu discussed Iran, and Netanyahu immediately convened an emergency cabinet meeting. So that means stuff is definitely being done.
Do me a favor, guys. Please retweet, repost the stream if you are on X. We really appreciate anything to help get this out. This is a special episode. So
yeah, please retweet. Please, it means the world to us. Go to the Iranian boats have been sunk. Go to that one. Justin Trump now posts claiming all Iranian boats have been sunk. This is just part of
bye. Oh, this one.
No, the one above.
Yeah.
So look, it's just you have to keep in mind when you look at stuff like this. This is made for someone that can't read at a 6th grade level, and see how it's easy to understand. It's even black and white. They don't want to confuse them with colors.
This is what AI was built for, guys.
I guess, but
propaganda.
It's literally you could have made this, in 2002. Like that's how basic it is. And that's because it's propaganda meant to fool ignorant people.
Isn't it really interesting to see what modern day propaganda looks like? Before it used to be like these posters, and it used to be like kind of like these newspaper boys running around and throwing stuff on your doorstep, and you'd read the news. And now you literally have like Lego videos, and you've got Trump, our president posting AI slop. It's what a time to be alive.
It's surreal, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone out there in the audience that is crying for a return to normalcy, not the fake kind, not the Biden kind, but actual real, people that care about the country. It's going to take people that are under the age of 65 to do it.
The last time we had that, whether you hate him or love that, was when Obama and I think Mitt Romney. I would say that's the last time that I've seen.
And they've all been old.
Diplomacy.
They've all been old people. But we'll get into it. I'm not a fan of Obama, but here's what you can say. JCPOA, we left that under Trump, and now we're at war. Look how that ended up, ladies and gentlemen. And Obama said it himself. He said, I govern like a Republican. That's what Obama said. That's a quote.
The border-in-chief.
Yeah, that's true.
Border-in-chief.
A lot more people than Trump did.
Okay, what else we got
let's go to the next Trump one. We got a few ones from Trump. We got to cover all of Trump's latest.
He already did the fast boats.
Fast boats.
He already did that one.
Okay, let's go to the Riyadh warns it reserves the right, because this is about the drone strike. So breaking, Saudi Arabia says that they intercepted 3 drones launched from Iraq this morning. So I guess Iraqi rebel cells or Iraqi, like Iranian aligned cells, perhaps. And you know, it's odd, right? Because you think about the history of the region, and most people are ignorant to the history of the region. Iran fought a brutal 3-year war against Iraq, where Iran lost 400,000 people. Okay, Saddam Hussein was given chemical weapons by our government, and they were deployed en masse in Iran. That's why we had the chemical weapons excuse to go into Iraq later.
Yes, we
Isn't
did.
that fun?
Yeah, it's all weird. You know, we support the group that's going to go against the guys that are not that have not fallen in line, because it's weird because we used to actually support Iran at some point to counter Iraq, and then we went into got in bed.
Shah, and then the other way around.
Yeah.
It's all, the thing is, wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to worry about these problems? Wouldn't it be nice, you know, if we could worry about our own business and step away from all this? That's what I don't think it's unreasonable to suggest cooperation over bombing.
Can't let them commies win.
And people are like, oh, well, they never work with us. Like, all we do is go to war. They hate us, and there's death to America, blah, blah, blah. China, Russia, Iran. If Trump just came to the table and said, look, they got a lot of photos of me, and it's not good, believe me, not good, but I think we can get around this, and just going to be honest about it. And they go, well, here's the thing. If you leave the Middle East, if you move these military bases, or at least move some of them away, if you're willing to, you know, allow us to enrich at civilian levels, we'll probably stop. We'll probably open the strait. It would be nice from day one if we were just at the position we were at before the war, where none of this was happening. But now we put ourselves in a position where, Tim, what do we do to get out of this besides either escalate or make a concession?
Yeah, so it is the situation of a rock and a hard place. 'Cause
Yes.
if we do concede, we look weak.
Yes.
And you can't do that. You can't look weak, Rex.
I don't know about that, though. I think we got to be gracious.
No, I know. I mean, I'm just being
No, that's the view.
but that is the view.
I mean, you're 100% right. And people would tell me that I'm naive and that you're correct on that. And that's because in the prevalent opinion in Washington, D.C., is that if we don't fill the void, there's going to be a power vacuum. And then whatever other entity is going to come in is going to come in.
It's interesting because there is a case for that. I think China has understood that they do want to be at the head of the table.
Yeah, and I think what that comes from is just like seeing that it's possible, right? Because they see the West just like killing itself,
Just destroying
for no
itself.
reason.
Yep.
Insane.
You know, it's crazy. They haven't really had to do a whole lot.
No, certainly.
They really haven't had to do a whole lot.
Certainly
you know,
not.
it's this asymmetric warfare, and I bet you they're doing a really good job on social media and online.
Here, will you give me the mouse for the news blitz? I can run through it.
Go ahead and run through that.
Yeah, let's go to Iranian. Oh, let's go to Iranians arm themselves. Let's go to this. It's a Fox News clip.
Has been showing video today of government supporters, some receiving defense training inside of mosques, weapons and all. And one Iranian had a more direct message for Donald Trump. Listen to this.
Trump, you cannot take the Strait of Hormuz from Iran. I have come to destroy you.
So with the strait still blocked to shipping, authorities in Abu Dhabi say a drone attack caused a fire close to a nuclear power plant just west of the city. No injuries or major damage has been reported, but the UAE says the targeting of a nuclear power plant, whether it's by the principal perpetrator, as it says, or one of its proxies, has been...
Okay, so two things there. Number one, of course, the nuclear power plant, and I think they hit the diesel generator.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was targeted. And then the Iranian people, you know, in mosques training, you know, for American ground invasion. What do you think?
Oh, like I really want to say like there's 0% chance of us putting boots on the ground, but it's not zero anymore.
Right.
It's very interesting.
And all something has to be statistically significant is like 3%.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it very high because even Trump, out of all the people, know the consequences of that. You would lose all faith in the government. People everywhere. You know how many people who are still supporting him? They're like, that's the red line for them.
That's what people have talked to us about.
So
the Quartering and Andrew Wilson have had to concede that, like we do, like this at a point has to stop.
Boots on the ground. You know, what's his approval rating at now? Like,
that's an excellent question, Wes. Can you look that up really quick? Will you look up what President Blump's approval rating is?
I will.
Or Tim is going to do it, actually.
Also, in 10 minutes, we've got a guest coming on.
Yes.
He is running his own Well, you can explain a little bit while I'm looking this up.
Yes, so we've got really cool guy joining us. He's going to be
His
explaining.
name is Clayton
Clayton is gonna be
Kuteri.
joining us. How do you say his last name again?
Kuteri.
Kuteri. I'm getting that wrong. Clayton Kuteri is going to be joining us, talking to us about his political platform, getting on the ballot, what he's doing. He was part of a LaRouche stream that we were also on with a ton of different independent candidates and commentators. We really liked his message of like post-duopoly unity, trying to talk to people about, hey, actually, we want to affect political change in the country. It's not just rhetoric. It's not just slogans. It's not just a sports team. He's somebody who you can just tell from day one from talking to him that he really cares deeply about what's going on. And were you to get in government, he could really do something about it.
Okay, so his approval rating, I believe, is at about 37%. Woo!
37. Hey.
That's crazy.
No, that's a 10 off from 47.
What is who? That can't be the lowest though, right?
I think Biden was really bad at one point. I think he was down in the ditch, but I mean, Trump's got to be close. I mean, both. I think Trump and Biden both like set records. They both set records. What?
Okay, so Harry Truman at 22%.
For what? What did he do in 1952? We gotta do a deep dive. Korean
War, yeah.
Okay, that checks.
I could see that.
We could go back to that.
I could see that.
Time for a remix.
Yeah, you know, every time you got to reset the clock. We got to forget history, guys. Let's get down to 22%. Let's go.
What does it say about the Korean War? You know what? Actually, Wes.
Richard Nixon was at 24%. George W. Bush was at 25% by 2008. Oh, well, I get that.
Well, now we see how Trump can hit these numbers. And then Jimmy Carter, who's historically
34
talked about as being horrible, is only, 3 away from Trump.
34%.
So let's play this footage of these planes, because this was at like some sort of like like military display show. Or I'll read the caption really quick. I got the mouse. My bad. Just in, 2 U.S. Navy jets collided mid-air and exploded during the Gunfighter Skies Air Show at Mountain Home Air Force.
Look at your involuntary tax dollars at work here.
They're about to assume Lindsey Graham formation. Check.
I can't hear you because of the. You know what my biggest problem is with taxes? It's not like I know the main argument is like, okay, there's a bunch of waste, but like you don't even get the option to like decide where your like taxes go. You know, like a portfolio, you get to like, oh, okay, I want this to go here, I want this to go there.
No.
And there's like no option.
You can buy all the bombs you want. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? There's all sorts of bombs you get to pay for.
Yes. And you know what? It's amazing because I get to also pay for a system that might not be around by the time I'm 65. It's a little thing called Social Security. Not so secure.
We're not getting that.
We're not getting that.
That won't be in the cards for us at all.
That would be, 40-something years from now?
Yeah, it's going to go.
Who else is cooked?
Decade.
Anybody in the chat think Social Security is going to be around by the time it's time for them to get some moolah?
Well, it's okay because you can just gamble on the stock market. This is what I've been told by a lot of people. Hey, man, don't be salty. Trump's making a lot of money for us in the market. And I make the point of you shouldn't have to gamble to survive in this country. It didn't used to be that way.
Ooh.
Gambling actually used to be illegal in most parts of this country. It's been overnight legalized, by the way. Let's show the gas price.
A lot of people needed to go to jail for a very long time.
And I think that this is I'm not sure where this is at. I think this is somewhere in Europe because it says petrol.
That is
petroleum. Well, maybe that's us, actually. It does look like us.
I've just seen one of those. I think that's in Kansas.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, 2.45 gallons at $9.32.
That's reasonable. You can
honestly, that's
raise a
cheaper
family.
than what it is here. We're at like I paid $4.19 the last time I filled up my tank. I don't know about
they're
you.
complaining
For
about
regular
3.7. I mean, that's outrageous, and that's how bad it is in America now. It's so bad. You'd be like, well, it only doubled in price. It didn't quadruple.
And the funniest thing is people are trying to compare like, well, under Biden, it was only like $4.60. Well, it ballooned to $4.60. We are only at week 8 of this
Right.
conflict.
And it takes 6 months to fully reopen the strait. The ramifications of the strait being closed aren't just gasoline, it's the diesel, which is how your food gets to the grocery store, how your everything gets delivered to you. I mean, I'm in fulfillment, right? Like I operate a fulfillment center. It is so expensive to ship stuff out with the fuel surcharge and the increasing costs and everything that I've been forced to downsize. And that's not right. You know, that's not what I voted for. I voted for prosperity. So what? It's just I feel ripped off.
We shut down a whole airline, guys. Bet
Yeah.
you Spirit's pretty pissed off right now.
That's true. That's true. And then we got the prices of oil. We got the U.S. oil price spiking above 107 a barrel after Trump threatens Iran again. And we got the graph right there.
Oh, I got to do a deep dive on this because apparently the price that we see,
not the
it's
actual
not the
price.
actual price. It's much higher
This
in
is what's being
reality.
displayed to a lot of people right now. So it's at 107. That's a sticker price, of course, without discount.
Yeah.
So
I mean, 107. No, but like the actual price that they're paying on the ground level, it's like significantly higher. That's a reflection of the market and not the reality on the ground. And I got to do a deep dive on that.
let's go to somebody that's actually really happy about all this and in fact says the war is so great it's worth losing his job. Let's play Lindsey Graham talking about that.
Ooh, I love him.
Oh, yes.
The Bubba Wound.
I was at Disneyland or Disney World.
Them $95 pizza boys.
I go to Ukraine and, you know, I spend, you know, a few $100,000 a night. You know, I'm a U.S. senator. I'm an important man. We're going to go ahead and play it.
Go ahead, play
We
what?
can end this thing pretty soon.
Senator, you take me to my next question because 70% of Americans in a new poll say President Trump is doing a bad job on the economy, the
Yeah.
number one issue for voters.
Sure.
As you know, bottom line, is it worth losing the midterms if the result is a non-nuclear Iran?
It's worth losing my job. If I had to give my job up.
All right. So it's worth losing his job. He also says it's over soon. How does he make that determination?
Oh, man.
How does that happen?
Well, you see, Trump gave me the script this morning after I was done washing him, and I just had to go on there and just tell him what the truth was.
That's right. I'm Lindsey Graham. Man, let's play the rest
Go ahead,
of it.
play the rest of it.
To make sure Iran would never have a nuclear weapon, I would do it.
Did you give up the House and the Senate?
I would give up politically. The most important thing I can do with the job I've been given is to protect the American people. Now, you don't have to agree with me.
That's
He just
crazy.
He just said the most important thing I can do with the job I've been given is to protect the American people. Cross out protect the American people, write in take the American people to war. That's his real job. Because the defense companies, the foreign lobbies, all of it, that's who pays him to be in office. That's who, you know, gives him the campaign money in order to make it. So
And here's the thing: he's not interested in signaling to you, the Americans back at home.
he's talking to his
There's some guy. Well, there's some guy who's sitting there who has some high level of political power, probably the president himself, and he's signaling to that man to say the right things so that he can get reelected because he knows he's still going to get reelected despite what the people think because there's always a way to spin the story.
Yeah, where there's $1 billion, there's a way. I used to say where there's a will, there's a way. Now, you know, when there's, you know, millions in political donations, there's a way. And
Let's go.
We're gonna get into that.
Let's go finish out the rest of the clip before Clayton comes on.
But I've been this way for 20 years. I believe they're religious Nazis in Iran. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would use it. They've been trying to get one. They've been cheating. Obama and Biden were jokes when it came to containing Iran. Trump is doing something people should have done a long time ago. But here's the good news. Gas prices will come down when you put Iran in a box. Saudi-Israel peace will become possible when you put Iran in a box. The upside of dealing with Iran is enormously good, but you got to deal with them.
Yeah, the upside's good. You know, the starvation, the shortages, you know, there's an upside to the war.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. You know, I'm just very curious. You know, how long has he been reelected over and over again?
He promised to abide by term limits, according to Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, who's from South Carolina, so I believe him. He's a reliable source, in 1992. Okay?
I wasn't even alive.
So they're just laughing at us, all right? Like Lindsey Graham, he probably thinks it's hilarious that he's a senator. And we're going to be joined soon by a guest that, you know, given the opportunity, given real political power, these independent candidates that we've met through LaRouge and other factions, we think they can do a lot better job than a swamp creature who's been there for 40, 50 years.
100%. And it is like, look, the reason why we have people that are from every single camp is because of the fact that everyone should have a platform, especially if you're trying to push the right agenda and you genuinely care about America. Those people deserve to get their voices out. So
Right.
I liked what he had to say when we were on that panel of people. And so I'm very excited to introduce Clayton West. He's actually in the building. Let's go ahead and put him on here.
Welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Clayton? I'm so glad we could get this set up, man. Oop, you're muted.
We got audio.
We got audio. He's muted. Try unmuting yourself, maybe. No, that's crazy. We did an audio check.
Everything.
Make sure you're connected to the right source for your audio.
Is it on our end?
No, it's not on our end. Chat, can you guys hear him? I love technology these days.
Yeah, me and you both, man.
Here, let me see something real quick. Settings.
Oh, we have to approve access.
It says it's connected to your input.
Scarlet.
Your audio input is Scarlet 2i2. Try changing that maybe. Oh, I'm hearing
I heard
something.
A sound.
I heard a sound. There we
got
go.
you.
We got you. Awesome.
It's not going to be this microphone though, if we care.
That's fine. We want to be able to hear you.
All right. Does it sound good?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
All right. Well, as long as it sounds good, right?
You are good. Yeah, man, we are glad to have you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because a lot of people are probably curious who you are.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Of course.
And I think it's quite poetic that you started it off with Lindsey Graham right before me, because I'm also in South Carolina. I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives District 1. And by trade, I'm a software engineer. I've started 8 businesses now. I'm the Secretary General of the American Congress Party. And my goal is to become the next representative of South Carolina District 1. I think a lot of the things you guys have said are things that I can deeply resonate, right? Where's our money going? Stop the endless wars. We need a different option than Republicans or Democrats, because neither one is going to save us.
Right.
And my ultimate goal is to create peace on earth. And so that's kind of a high level of who I am, where I've been, and where we're going.
What made you get into politics instead of going, the business route and just sticking to that?
It's a good question. I guess it was explained to me like this. In terms of creating change, there's 2 main sources of power. There's monetary and there's political. Monetary power you can see with Elon Musk. He's creating an entire city in Texas so that he can shoot off his rockets. That's something you can do if you're worth $500 million or $500 billion. Who knows? Maybe he's worth more. And then the other act is political. So whatever your beliefs are about what happened in March of 2020, politicians got together and decided that they were going to close beaches. I lived in San Diego at the time. And for me, completely cutting us off from nature is crazy.
Right.
It goes against intuition, goes against, people want to say trust the science. It goes against science. It goes against the physical sciences. We're creatures of nature. So to me, to see that all of that devastation was happening and that the only way to create real change is through political power and monetary power, I realized that you got to have both if you want to make a real change on this planet.
I think you're talking about a pro-human agenda, and that's something that we talk about a lot. You talking about the nature and them wanting to deprive us of that during the pandemic, during COVID, during the whatever. I think that's such a key point. Think about the concept of paying for these wars. right? Like there's nothing American, there's nothing human about paying for death you can't see. Just because you don't see it, you're fine with doing it. Like I feel a lot of personal responsibility for those bombs being dropped. I don't know how you feel, Tim, but it's our money at least, and I think that means something. What do you think about South Carolinians? Because I've done a lot of research, like top 10 in senior population and things like this, so you could understand older voters kind of leaning towards the more traditional neocon guy. What is it about Lindsey Graham? Because he's as anti-human as it gets, and he's getting reelected. What's up with that?
Well, I think there's a lot of ways to break this down. I mean, if we want to talk specifically about South Carolinians, the people of my district, the biggest issue we're facing is more people. Have infrastructure problems. Is really like the biggest issue, I would say, mixed with the economy, mixed with drug prices, mixed with education, because education in South Carolina is horrendous, one of the lowest in the countries. And so to see him specifically saying, keeping America safe is top priority, I kind of find it ironic, if you will, because I see it as a representative's top priority is to represent the people. And I don't hear anyone saying that they're concerned about Iran having a nuclear weapon. Everyone here is concerned about infrastructure. Everyone here is concerned about a proper education for their family. They're concerned about insurance. A big issue right now in South Carolina District 1 is that it's on a coast. So what this means is that if a Cat 4, Cat 5 comes through, hurricane, you're taking out all this property. And so the premiums are astronomically high because nobody wants to insure them. So I am actually one of the only people, I think, in the entire country who's pushing for like a federal backstop so that insurance companies can actually insure these people. Because if you look at what happened with Hurricane, was it Helene or Helena, where it completely destroyed the North Carolinas and South Carolinas, and there's still no building. It's because these insurance companies couldn't afford it and FEMA didn't bail them out. So to summarize, he's disconnected in some way from what I hear, from what I see with people within my own district.
You know what I think is the most insane thing now that I think about it? We can spend billions of dollars rebuilding some place that's like thousands of miles away that was completely demolished.
Can't find it on a map.
But like there are Americans, not even just in North Carolina and South Carolina. Think about Hawaii. We all forgot about Hawaii too. Like all of these different places have been hit very hard. And correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me, what was the actual bailout from the government? I thought I heard people were not getting enough help that they actually needed.
I don't know all the numbers specifically, but right now they're still not building. It's still destroyed. People want to build, but they can't. They don't have the finances. Nobody's helping them.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Sure, we could pay to fix bridges and roads. Sure, we could provide disaster relief, but we got to spend money on the wars, and this is why the wars are so key. The price tag is well over $80 billion so far for the current excursion, whatever you want to call it. They're going to pass a $200 billion continuation package, not just for this war, but for the wars of the future.
I bet you it's higher now.
And then they're going to pass the $1.5 trillion defense budget next year. What do you think about the reckless spending?
I think what's going to save this country is, excuse me, is good history lessons, understanding how we got to the problems of today. So the long answer here is that you really have to go and look at how we got here. Why is our financial institutions set up such that we have a military industrial complex? So this requires hours of its own. But you have to go and understand the Federal Reserve. You have to understand Woodrow Wilson taking us off the gold standard. You have to understand that all of this, and even started back in the 1800s with the Rothschild family, who was propping up Napoleon and propping up the UK, and they were making tremendous amount of money off of wars all the way back, since the Napoleonic Wars. And so they've just continued that process ever since then. You couple that with taking us off the gold standard, putting us on the petrodollar. And a lot of this has put us in the situation we are today. So there's companies that if there was peace, they would no longer exist. They make a tremendous amount of money, and so you can't have that happen. So fundamentally, I think that we need to pivot our direction of military, see it as strictly defensive operations. I think, I think I heard you talking about the language and how powerful language was at the beginning of your podcast here. So by them changing it from Department of Defense to Department of War, it's very much an attack on our minds, our language centers. Because if you're not just defending and you're actively seeking out war, which is what we did in Iran, then you're going to create that energy, right? So fundamentally, we need to roll back a lot of the military spending, in my opinion, and we need to invest it in the American people and what they truly desire. We can start with home, for instance. We can start with free medication. We can start with upgrading our education system. We can start with not poisoning our food. Because like even food's something we don't talk about much, but there's very economical ways that we could provide free non-chemical food for every American citizen. It would take a little bit of time to grow it all, but it's very doable based on a lot of the things that the federal government has at its disposal.
What are those steps that you would take? I heard you mention free medication and stuff like that. If you're going to be an advocate for the people, what's the most important thing to tackle first?
Yeah, I see it as a trifecta. I think that the big three, in my opinion, is free non-chemical food, is free medication, and upgraded free education. So I see this trifecta as being what is completely poisoning, and if you will, a cancer, a parasite on the American people. Because you have an education system right now that is teaching slavery education. You have to raise your hand if you want to go to the bathroom. You have to read this book and regurgitate the answers. There's no free thinking. There's no creativity that's involved in it. So you're becoming essentially a mindless drone. This was what they wanted. It's based off the Prussia system. They based it off of a system of creating good, obedient soldiers.
Yeah.
And so
Let me jump on that real quick. Also, the other aspect is, how you have the bell in class and you've got the set schedule.
Sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was systematized in order to actually get people used to working in that like 40-hour work week, like priming you for the workforce so that you can just be habitual. Like, the best thing you would do if you want everybody to like be able to compete in the market and actually have a way to survive is you would teach them financial literacy instead of like, I don't even know half the things that I learned in school anymore.
No civics, no welding, no carpentry, wood shop, no shooting, none of that. That's all been removed because, see, it's too dangerous. For Americans are like children. They have to be babied and protected and taught this very specific set of rules. I think that's key, what y'all just pointed out.
Yeah, and then other countries are out competing us when it comes to education, and they're teaching, like in Asia, they know the secret sauce. You're either going into something STEM and it's very heavy STEM, or it's medical, because those are two very strong bases where you're going to have a good standard of living just from doing those things, right?
Yeah, you nailed it. The bell's a part of it. You're sitting in rows. Think of it this way too. You're not even looking at any of your peers. You're everyone's focused at the one person at the front of the room who's telling you what the answers are. You get in trouble if you ask questions that are outside of the box as well. So there's a lot that goes into it. I even saw a reel recently that I reacted to where it's all the way down to the lights that they use. The frequency of the lights will actually calm you down. They kind of like destimulate you, so you have to focus more. It's a complete. The more you dig into it, the uglier it gets. And this then ties into our food, right? All of our food's being poisoned, whether it's through glyphosate, atrazine, our waters with atrazine, fluoride, all of these things. And you're dulling down the human body. You're calcifying the pineal gland. You're making it difficult for people to think freely. And again, it's by design because you have the merger. And here's where kind of it gets all wrapped together, the merger of Bayer Monsanto. And so now you have the pairing, the joining of the medical institution with the food. So you have to ask yourself, why would these companies want to poison people? Well, you create a sick population, physically sick. The education system makes us mentally sick, mental slaves. The food education makes us physically sick. And then the medical institutions don't even heal us. They just treat symptoms, and they try to siphon off as much money as possible from the individual until they take their last breath. And the examples of this are highlighted by what was the Flexner Report in the early 1900s. So the Flexner Report was commissioned by the Carnegie Foundation, and their end goal was to figure out what was going on. How could they essentially, let's say, take over this industry? So in the early 1900s in America, everyone was following homeopathy and what is today deemed alternative medicine. Well, the phrase alternative medicine was created by the Flexner Report such that they could kind of create these quack doctors who were healing the core cause of issues that they were seeing in patients. And you could use plants, you could use, this is like Eastern medicine. It's like medicine 101 that has been on the planet for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. And now this was being ostracized and considered lunacy and evil, if you will. So what they did is they partnered with the Rockefellers, and the Rockefellers basically shipped all the oil that was in America at the time. And they said, hey, let's see if we can do petroleum-based medicine. So what they did was it started using oil to derive chemicals out of it. The best example is Valium. So Valium is a pharmaceutical drug that helps you sleep. It's derived from a chemical in the valerian root. Now, valerian root is just a natural growing plant. I don't know specific classification, plant, weed, whatever it is. You ingest it, it helps you sleep. Zero side effects. You can't make money off of that plant. But if you take out the chemical structure that makes you sleep, you use your oil to synthesize it, you now have created a product that has a laundry list of issues with it, side effects. So then you can issue other pharmaceutical drugs to help aid in side effects if you get them. So what created out of this was a system, right, that you poison people, taking nature, poisoning it with, lost my train of thought, poisoning it with the petrochemicals. People are ingesting it. And then what pops up is we start to see cancer rates increasing.
Yeah,
well, the
really
Yankees,
about that cancer. I have people that I know who are younger than me that are getting like tumors and cancers removed from like their neck, other parts of their body, and it's like, wait. I always was told that cancer is really kind of like for older people, but now you're seeing this trend of the younger generation starting to see cancer rates increase.
I mean, look at autism, for example. Autism used to be super rare. Now it's like 1 in 33 children. So, like, these are things that we're told are normal, but very clearly it's not normal. And something that's interesting, you're talking about the valerian root Valium connection. We name the receptors after drugs.
That's crazy.
So, like, before it was called the GABA receptor, it was called the benzodiazepine receptor.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
The other part of this equation that's also crazy is, how when they go to make a formula for a food, what sense does it make putting stuff that's like not natural and like you could find like in a sponge? Like I remember Subway, their bread used to not be real bread. And I'm like, wait. So I've been basically eating the same stuff as a sponge this entire time and told to eat fresh.
Yeah.
That's America for you.
Unbelievable. So, when you see all of these problems, is this kind of what you see like your platform being run on? Like, is this kind of the thing that's gotten you into politics? Is this what your platform is on, is like waking people up to this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mixture of both. I think, the founding fathers essentially said that if our country did not have a well-educated populace, then it would completely fall apart. And I think that that's what we're seeing right now, is that parasitic elites, if you will, have entered into the United States back to the 1900s, completely destroyed our education, our knowledge, dumbed us down physically, mentally. And so, it's a combination of things, right? My platform is to teach you the real history. Hopefully you can see for yourself how we've been destroyed, and then educate, right? You educate people so that they make the right choice, so that they're able to choose appropriately. And if it's not me, then it's not me, but at least they're going to be educated. And I think that that's far more important than anybody who's holding office.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we're talking about some core issues here. While we're on the topic of core issues, the literacy rate. we're talking about, people being able to understand things. I mean, when you got 54% of Americans that read at or below a sixth grade level, they can't read a Harry Potter book. How are you supposed to explain like this complicated, system of, the world that we live in? How are people, they're unaware of the world. What do you think about that?
Well, luckily we're on a podcast, right? So that definitely helps.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think I go back and forth with this because I find that books are very, very important. I've written a book myself, talks about some secret teachings of Jesus. I've read tremendous number of books that are very powerful, but and they are important. I do think the most important thing that maybe outweighs books is experience. You experience things for yourself. If you go to the farmer's market and you eat a fresh blueberry, a fresh strawberry, and then you go home and you buy one from the grocery store and eat one of those, your life will change because it will show you how much poison, how much.
What is it? Repeat that. What is
Saying
it?
if you eat fresh food you grow yourself, you're going to notice the difference between what you buy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Or if you go to the farmer's market. Yeah. Because it's so nutrient dense that you'll be mind blown. And so I think that little seed can fester and really help you to see a bigger picture, if you will.
Sure.
So curious, like when it comes to your campaign, who is your main opponent and kind of like what are you? I mean, you're running your own kind of own lane, right? You're a write-in ballot, if I don't mistake it. And now you're running against two different people. What is that like now that you're running a campaign?
Yeah, so I ran in 2024 in Pennsylvania, and so this is the second time doing it. Obviously, a lot has changed since then. Right now, they still have the primaries. They haven't finished the primaries for the Democrats or the Republicans, so they have a huge field right now. And what it has looked like so far is trying to get to town hall meetings, really get myself immersed in the process, and really telling people to kind of share my content because there's an education piece as well with understanding what a write-in means. When people get to the ballot box and they see House of Representatives, South Carolina District 1, they're going to need to know that that's the box to write my name because my name won't physically be on the ballot. And so, there's definitely a level of education as well there. So it's really connecting with people, understanding the problems and truly understanding the problems, not just meeting with donors so that I can just spend more money on advertising and because that's not going to be a winning formula. The winning formula for my campaign is going to be the grassroots movement.
Right. And another thing that I'm curious about is, have you experienced any of the like dirty side to politics since you've been running or in your previous campaigns that you can speak about?
Any sketchy characters?
Well, like, I mean, just like there's always like this like dog eat dog world and we have, things that people aren't doing ethically. So have you experienced any of that?
Yeah, I think the short answer is yes, unfortunately. But there's a psychological war, I think, going on as well. I think most people get into politics wanting to do what's best. The problem is that they'll become detached from the people who are actually electing them and start listening more to the people who are funding their campaigns because they need money. It's extremely expensive. Right now, I'm accepting donations only from the people within the district. I mean, worldwide, I guess, can donate, but just from the people. And I want to clarify that it's actually only in the United States that you can donate.
Right.
But the point is that it's really expensive. But yeah, they get disconnected, and then they start serving the people because an interesting thing is that you can only serve one master. You cannot serve multiple. So if you're not serving the American people, you're serving somebody else.
Right.
Lindsey Graham, he's serving the military-industrial complex, or maybe it's Israel. We don't know, but it's clearly not the American people. And so I think that's one of the difficult things is really asking yourself, is this person serving the American people, or does he have a different master that he is serving?
I think that's an excellent point. Where do people find you? Where do people support your campaign? Where do people learn more about you?
Yeah, you can go to writeinqterry.com, and that's the best way. I'm on Instagram, Clayton Q. Terry. I've got a podcast, Traveling to Consciousness. So on there, you'll find, if you go to writeinqterry.com, you'll find all my policies, all my platform, and how you can write me in if you live in South Carolina.
Awesome. And when is your race? When is that going to happen?
November 3rd. It'll be with the general election.
You got some time to stage. You got some time to talk to people on the street. You got some time to like really build a big campaign here. That's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Let's see if we can.
That's writeinkuteri.com.
See if we can pull that up for Wes so we can show the audience. Yeah, I mean, this is just definitely happened circumstance. You know, we were in a panel with like a bunch of independent, some people on the left. I don't know if there was anybody on the right in this particular one, but
people that don't subscribe to
yeah, that don't
things.
subscribe to such things. Actually, I think every single person was independent. Now that I think about
and
it.
that's a beautiful thing. I think we're going to see more of that. Throwing up your website right now. That's Clayton Kuteri for U.S. Congress, and you can go to check out that website. That's writeinkuteri.com. Really appreciate you coming on the show, man. Thank you for spending the time with us.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. I know I ran on a little bit there, but there's so much to get into. But yeah, thanks for
You're totally fine.
yeah.
We'll have you back on for longer. Tonight, we ended up having like all these different things. It's we have a film crew that's
We have a
filming
Danish
us.
film crew that's doing a production on us.
Yeah, a whole documentary. So like our whole schedule is constantly changing. But like seriously, we'd definitely have you back on. I think people should donate to people who are actually know what the real issues are because you're knowledgeable. Like, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with a bunch of the different points that you've had here.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Yeah, I'd love to come back on. We can talk a bit longer. Congrats on the Danish film crew. Hopefully they're doing well. Hopefully you guys got a documentary.
Now.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clayton. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you guys.
Another phenomenal interview in the books. We love independent candidates. We love talking to them. We'll have as many on as humanly possible.
100%. You know, that is this is a wave, guys. Like, I mean,
You're the mouse.
people like Andrew, when he came on in that whole debate and he was like, well, what are you gonna do? It's always gonna be this way. It's always gonna be the right or the left. And I'm like, well, you know, it's a little bit different now. We've got a lot of these black swan events that are waking people up. The world has never been so globally connected. Social media has never exploded like it did. So, I mean, I know the closest we got to was the Bull Moose party,
Right.
but
Right.
there is a chance
Well-
that, you know, there could be a movement where people, it might take 10, 20 years, but you got to start somewhere.
Well, let me give my rationale as to what I think on what you just broke down. So I would say the best example is going to be a combination of what you just said, like the rise of like a legitimate independent third party, plus somebody that's going to be like an RFK or a Trump, somebody that runs inside of a party, RFK more specifically, Democrat Party, then drops out, runs as an independent instead. And RFK was able to, at the peak of his polling, convince 13% of Americans to vote for him. Now, was he on the ballot in all 50 states? No. Do people like to point that out? Yes. The point being, you can get at least 1 in 10 Americans to say, hey, you know, I'm going to go independent this year.
And even if, look, here's the thing. It doesn't even always have to be third party. Even if we could get a more moderate Republican or a more moderate Democrat that's just common sense, is actually about the people, like, I can get behind that. But like, again, it just really comes down to, like he was saying, are you who is your master?
Sure.
You know, are you going for the American people? You can only have one master. And are you for the party or are you for the people?
Well, this is the thing. We got a few stories to get into before we get into the Massey thing. Go ahead and pull up Scoop. Trump advisors fear China may target Taiwan. But really quick, you know what, Wes? You're on the ball. You're on target. We're an hour in. Go ahead and throw Go Primal Core up. Let's tell people about Go Primal Core. We were talking to the film crew a little bit about it. Basically, the idea is ancient remedies, ancient herbs, ancient minerals, things you need to take already, things that have worked for thousands of years. Get them from us to support the show. So we've got that Core Fusion pack, and you can use code CORE25 to get an even bigger discount on it. That's got Ultimate Ashwagandha, top-rated KSM-66, plus Elemental Drive, which has core minerals that you need for vitality, for testosterone, for energy, for nootropic function, for proper enzymatic function. It's all right there. When you take like a men's multi or just like a generic multivitamin, here's the thing. It's going to be a shotgun approach where you have about 1 trillion different vitamins and minerals in there, almost none of them in the ideal ratio, milligram count, or form. What we have here is no fat, no filler, exactly what you need. A formula that I've put in dozens of InfoWars Life products, not dozens, a bunch of InfoWars Life products, and then AJN products, Alex Jones products. You got the boron, you got the zinc, you got the selenium, you got the magnesium, you got the copper, you got the vitamin D3. All of it is right there. I see Wes holding up the bottle and knockout. Shout out Wes. Okay, Roll Tide. If you want to roll Tide even harder, go to goprimalcore.com and support the show by buying the phenomenal products that we have available. Now, I want to go, Tim, to this article, Scoop, Trump advisors fear China may target Taiwan in the next 5 years. Because we covered the China thing, and a lot of it's been made that it's a big nothing burger. But what I took out of it was, one, Xi told us that he's the rising power and we're the descending power.
Why would it be a nothing burger? Like, there's nothing really stopping them. It's right off of their mainland.
The thing is it's very Confucianist, right? Like, they want to let us destroy ourselves.
Yeah, and it's very clear we have no real capacity to defend Taiwan. Like, really think about that critically. You're talking about, I don't know the, I don't know the, huh?
I'm not dying for it.
I'm not dying for nobody.
Hell no.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and we're already moved most of our assets over to Iran. If China wanted to take Taiwan, it would be while we're kind of still in the middle of these conflicts.
And you think about the arrogance of it, and I was even talking to the guys about this earlier. You think about the arrogance of saying, okay, well, here's the thing. We control global shipping. We have our aircraft carriers all over the world. You don't even control the South China Sea. It's ours.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just a tough thing as to where you have Japan and South Korea, both nations that we've taken weapons from as well to defend other places.
Yep.
They're kind of in a pinch, right? Because if something happens, they're going to be on the hook for it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm always curious, like, why, if people understand that there's a real threat, why is it always at our expense? Are we promising people, hey, we'll protect you so you don't need to, like, build your own massive ability to defend yourself?
Well,
like,
it's a mafia thing, right? Like, we take you over, you pay us protection money to have our military defend you, and you buy worse versions of our military equipment. It's a protection racket. That's what it is. And you could say China's doing the same thing with the economic stuff and with the debt and with the Belt and Road. Well, you know, a lot of these countries are saying, hey, you know, debt's a lot better than bombs.
yeah, but here's the thing. I
determination.
already realized China doesn't want to just, like, go into an all-out war. They're not interested in killing people. Really, they figured out the game a long time ago. If the world is so intertwined and the world is globalized in terms of all the trade, whoever holds the reserve currency or the trade routes or the where the money actually flows wins the equation of the game. And so that's why they're so happy to have Canada come over there, Spain come over there, other parts of the EU and these Asian countries are like, hey, we're taking our business elsewhere. But let's get into it.
Yeah,
here.
let's go ahead and read the Axios article. Let me go ahead and click on it. It's crazy. I didn't already click on it. Scoop, Trump advisors fear China may target Taiwan in the next 5 years. Okay, so some close advisors to President Trump fear the biggest substantive result of the China summit is heightened danger that Chinese President Xi will invade Taiwan in the next 5 years, potentially choking off the chips used to power AI to U.S. companies. What they're saying, Trump loved the pageantry and the special access Xi shrewdly rolled out during the Beijing visit, but the words didn't match the brouhaha. I don't know what that word is. One Trump advisor told us Xi is trying to move China to a new position where he's saying, we're not a rising power, we're your equal, and Taiwan is mine. The trip signaled a much higher likelihood that Taiwan will be on the table in the next 5 years. This unknown advisor added, it's Axios, so it's the CIA. That's the source. That's where it comes from. So we're quoting their anonymous source there. There's no way we could be ready economically. The chip supply chain won't be anywhere close to self-sufficiency. Talk a little bit about that, because we did a deep dive on that.
100%. What we tried to do is we tried to request for Taiwan to start shipping most of its chip manufacturing over to the United States.
Right.
One of the biggest hubs for that is here in the United States. The problem is when you look at that piece of equipment is $350 million to $400 million just for the actual chip manufacturing itself. Okay. And as you get to the advanced stuff, it doesn't just require the machine, it requires the personnel who know how to do it. we tried on our own to kind of compete and do the same thing, but it's not possible. And the reason why it's not possible is because I think it was Samsung. Yeah, it was Samsung that was trying to compete and do these things and get the market to move after that shock from COVID. And people realized these chips are not as good. So what they did is they just went back to Taiwan. But even if you're able to build these plants, it takes like 10 years to get everything up and running.
And the machines are like $400 million. Just one little, what are they called?
They're
TSM or something?
No, it's geez, how am I blanking off
I'm
the
asking
top
on
of
the spot. It's okay. $400 million. Okay. And
I think ASML is what they're called. Is the company that manufactures those. That's a European country. I think it's in Denmark, or some Dutch country. So when I think about this, you know, we are going to try to do this, but Taiwan doesn't want to give up all of its chip manufacturing. That is what it's known for. That is what's making it. It's all of its money for the most part. And they're not just going to say, hey, here, United States, just take 50%.
Right. I want to wait till it's confirmed. I don't want to report it as news. There is this narrative coming out, and I have a tweet, and I don't think the source is good enough to show, so we can just go ahead and skip the next one. Cuba, apparently, according to us, is working on acquiring drone defense from Russia and or Iran. So we're in a world war, basically. And like the thing is, like, do you think that back in like 1939, 1938, or 1940, they were like, we're in a world war?
No, this is
got to that point.
This is what scares me. Let's give you guys a little historical context here. Before World War II started, there were a bunch of these minor conflicts throughout the world. Spain had its own situation going on between Spain and Africa and all the things like where they had like their own civil war and
Japan
the things
and China.
Japan and China, they had invaded. Japan had invaded China
and all of that.
You had Russia and Germany kind of aligning and things happening
And you
with
also
that,
had-
where they carved up most of the Czech and a lot of those other places around Hungary. It was what we're kind of seeing right now, where people are moving the chips around and there's a lot of chaos going on, which creates the undertone of tension.
Yes.
And that's the part that we have to pay attention to. It's the tension.
Yes, and that reflects on domestic policy at home because people voted against this. People voted for peace and prosperity, not for what's going on. Let's pull up the MTG tweet. MTG Independent Party tweet. She sent this out in support of Massey.
I wish we could get her on
We're
sometime.
working on it. It'll happen. You got to have faith. Her and Massey, they're both going to come on the show at some point.
At some
I'm not booked
point.
for anything like that, but we're saying
They are
it's gonna happen.
adjacent connections, but we got to get them.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Let's show the MTG Independent Party tweet. All right, now we got that up on the screen for people. For Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you send in U.S. military troops into Iran, there is going to be a political revolution in America. We are done. We said no more foreign wars, and we meant it. True, absolutely. The coalition will unite and be unstoppable. I'll make sure of it. I told you she was going to run. Marjorie Taylor Greene totally running.
No way.
2028. In this war, it's stupid.
Here's the thing about her. Right message, wrong messenger. Okay. That is my
your
position.
opinion.
That is my position here. And the reason why.
I want to get her on the show. See, this is how real we are. That's how real we are.
I wasn't even thinking that.
No,
and
go
when I
ahead.
say that is just because there is a little bit of self-interest. She would have stayed in had Trump not done what he did to her. She wanted to run for a higher position, and he did not endorse her.
Where is it? Where is it? We need it. We got to have it.
My precious.
Can we have someone help us?
Where is my precious?
The Trump
It might be
looking
over
at-
here. Oh, I got it. She stole it from us. The precious. The precious.
All right, here we. I don't want it on my. I've. My friends will get hurt if we release the Epstein files, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And because you want to release the Epstein files, I'm going to call you Marjorie Trader Brown because grass green turns brown when it turns to poop.
Should have been Marjorie Trader Green if he wanted to make it all fancy and cool.
Right.
What, you know?
But you see, and get the MTG tweet up on screen again really quick.
Yeah, pull that up.
You see how this is a easy to understand, simple, independent political party message so that people are able to say, hey, there's something outside of the panopticon of propaganda that we're fed from both the left and the right.
Right.
This is a unity message, Tim. When do we get those?
No, I here's the thing. I know I said what I said at the beginning. I still appreciate what she's doing.
Sure.
I'm not going to ascribe what her intentions are, but she's doing what we need.
Sure.
Okay. And we just need more people to do this.
I mean, you look at the ridiculous spending, all right? Ed Gallerin has received record-breaking donations from large PACs associated with people from other countries, people from other states, people that are not people of his district, right? Now, is he a Navy SEAL? Yes. Is he a farmer? Yes. Is he a fourth-generation guy? Yes. That all means nothing when it's just a skin suit for more neocon foreign
This
policy.
guy came out of nowhere.
He was, yeah, they grew him. They grew him. They
Grew him
plucked
in the
out.
lab.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. You're straight from Central Casting. You're everything I've ever wanted. You don't even have a brain. I just plug in things in there and you say what I want you to say.
They were
Isn't that
like,
incredible?
find me the most American guy you can,
Sure.
and let's get him to get this guy out.
Yeah, and go ahead, Wes, and throw this.
Throw that up.
I want people to see, and it's more than this now because they're pouring more money in. Massey just had a money bomb where he got an additional $3 million. Look at that. 15.5 million, and it's higher now. That is completely outrageous, and we should not have this level of influence in our politics.
No, we should not. And I've already covered. I mean, look,
Indeed.
we've got a ton of different countries that have their lobbies here in America.
Right.
Saudis have their own. Qatar has their own. You've got Israel. You've got Japan. The list goes on and on and on and on and
But
on.
particularly, it is the Israel lobby.
They are the biggest.
That is tied with
AIPAC is the biggest.
defense industrial complex, and therein lies the issue, right? Because, hey, here we have this need for constant bombs, right? And we got to fight the war, because if we don't fight the war, then it's not even worth doing the job. Like Lindsey Graham says specifically, you know, it's not even worth it for me to keep my job if we can't get this war done. And he calls getting the war done protecting the American people. Trump's brain. Pretty insane.
Oh, what a time to be alive, guys, right?
Indeed. I want to go to the Hill article. I'll read this, and then Tim, I want to get your perspective on this.
Yep.
Massey hits back at Trump criticism. I think that's going to help my fundraising. Representative Thomas Massey on Sunday said President Trump's True Social post geared towards unseating him will only boost fundraising for his campaign. I think it's going to help boost my fundraising at thomasmassey.com, Massey said during an appearance on ABC's This Week. He added that every time the president posts about him, it's good for, you know, some money coming in because people don't like that. You think that's cope? A little bit of cope there? Because, you know, it is impactful.
It is. It is. I'll let you finish. I'll have my comments
Sure.
after you finish this.
Absolutely. And you know, and this is Massey again, and you know, how did this race become the most expensive race in the history of Congress? The most expensive race in the history of Congress. That doesn't happen if you're not doing your job. That doesn't happen if you're not being effective. That's the system trying to get you out. What do you think? I mean, that's enough there, right?
No. Finish it.
Keep going. Massey said billionaires Mira Middleton and Paul Singer have dumped money into the race in an effort to buy his seat in Congress. I don't even know why I need to say Massey said. Like, I don't understand you're quoting, but it's true. The GOP contest in Kentucky's 4th Congressional District has become the most expensive House primary battle in U.S. history, drawing $25.6 million in television, radio, and digital advertising.
All right. I'm ready.
Go
Wes,
ahead.
cut back to us. We live in this upside down world, stranger things going on.
Yes.
The fact that common sense is not prevailing at a time like this, you're talking about a man who is just trying to out the most vile human beings who touch little girls, have all of these weird satanic rituals, people standing over these tiny little girls who have no idea where they're at, what they're doing. And one guy decides to just try to do the right thing. And they're like, Send in the billionaires. We need all the money we can to protect.
My friends will get hurt. All the people that are really rich and hurt little children will get hurt. So we're not going to release it.
It breaks my mind. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sitting
wild.
here, it breaks my mind. It's like, this is what the common sense would say is bad thing. Remove bad so good thing can happen.
Right.
What's wrong with that
And
equation?
it's even beyond that, Tim, people voted for it because they were promised it directly.
And here's the thing, I can't even blame the voters because none of the ads say paid to you by Epstein's sponsor. It's like,
Right.
no, you have no idea who really paid for that thing. And they do the smear campaign, or they try to say, well, this is what this candidate stands for. You don't know anything in the background. This is that's the whole propaganda. So I can't blame the voters. They're just doing what's in the best interest of whoever's giving the right message.
So his district has a population of about 250,000. They have spent $25.6 million in this race collectively. That's like $5 to $10 a head.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Some people, some countries just have, corruption. We have really bad legal corruption.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and continue on because something blatantly illegal is probably going to happen because, of course, they control the Justice Department. Pete Hegseth is going to Kentucky. Pete Hegseth is going to Kentucky, and he's going to be campaigning for Ed Gowron on behalf of Trump.
Unbelievable.
Doesn't he have things to do?
No, it's just a little excursion.
Right.
Just a little excursion, Rex. This is the most important thing. We've got to get the guy out who's trying to do the right thing and is the champion of the people.
Right.
That's more important than this war, because the only way we can have this war continue is if we get Massey out to where, he's being put down and being quiet. They're going to make an example out of Massey. That's what they're trying to do here.
Yeah,
If they
no,
can get him
absolutely.
out, that is going to set the precedence for the rest of the candidates who think about getting out of line. You know who's next? Rokana.
Very true.
He's next.
They've been attacking.
They
him
already
as
got
well.
MTG. Who else is next? It was those 5 Republicans that decided to dissent against the mainstream.
No one disagrees with me. No one says the things that I don't want them to say. If they do, I hit them with a big club made out of money. That's literally what it is. And I want to read this to you. Go ahead and display the XF graphic really quick, Wes, if you would, because this is in direct violation of something called the Hatch Act. The Hatch Act is a federal law passed in 1939, and it limits certain political activities of federal employees like Pete Hegseth. The law's purposes are to ensure the federal programs are administered in nonpartisan fashion. This seems pretty partisan to me.
Okay, so this was 1939. Yeah, I mean, no one knows this exists. So, people are like, oh, well, it's just fine if Pete just goes out there and
Well, that's
supports
why
him.
our job is important, to tell people
It is.
what's going on right now is blatantly on its face illegal, and all these people are criminals. Just by
Wow.
definition of the
Good.
law.
This is a good catch. How'd you find this? Because I
just saw people talk about it.
I had
man.
no idea this law or this act existed.
I just saw this today. I did a little bit of a mini deep dive on it. We've got a video explaining it. Let's go ahead and go to the video explaining it. And that's Hegseth Hatch Act explained, hyperlinked underneath that original video. And it's going to break it down. You can't do this. You're not allowed to, but they're going to do
They're
it.
going to do it anyway.
That's the thing. Is it truly is a bank robbery because they're looking at it from the perspective of Trump's
Oh,
well, I can just pardon everybody like Biden when I leave. And that's just disgusting because, hey, I thought you're supposed to be better than that guy, right? I thought this was supposed to be an evolution, not the same thing repackaged. I guess they're both 80 years old. So
yep.
let's go ahead and go to the video here.
And what am I doing here?
That's right. Joe Biden. Let's go ahead.
Wes, go ahead and pull up that video.
Pete Hegseth is planning to travel to Kentucky to join Donald Trump's more than $20 million effort to oust Thomas Massey. Trump himself has already traveled to Kentucky to campaign his hand-picked challenger to Massey. But there's an important distinction about Pete Hegseth. He is a Senate-confirmed cabinet member, which, to my understanding, is a violation of the Hatch Act. So the Hatch Act generally prohibits federal employees from engaging in partisan political activity while on duty. And the Hatch Act is there to prevent the federal government from using taxpayer resources and the power of federal political offices from overwhelming the sovereignty of communities when the federal government wants something that is in its interest but is not in the interest of that community. And when I read headlines like this, it's clear to me that Hegseth is going to Kentucky specifically to rally for Ed Gowrain, who is the guy that Trump has picked to try to replace Thomas Massie. And I found out that this whole event is being put on by America First Works. And this is an organization led by Linda McMahon, who is in the Trump cabinet, Lee Zeldin, another cabinet member, Brooke Rollins, another cabinet member. So clearly the Hegseth visit is coordinated by the Trump administration. Now, I did find out that because Pete Hegseth is on duty technically 24/7, there are some special provisions that say that there are certain times that the Hatch Act might not apply to him. But the way that the law was written, the head of the department then determines when its own people are exempt from the Hatch Act. So I found that the Department of War has issued guidelines on what exactly political activity is for its people, including Pete Hegseth. And it literally defines political activity as an activity directed towards the success or failure of a political party or candidate for partisan political office. And then in their own guidelines, the Department of War says, may officials engage in the campaigning of a candidate running for partisan political office? No. But then it turns out that the enforcement of the Hatch Act is left up to the executive branch. And I'm guessing that Donald Trump is not going to enforce the law against his own team. Do you think that Pete Hegseth, the sitting Secretary of War, traveling to Kentucky to rally for Trump's chosen replacement of Thomas Massie is A, good use of his time while we are in the middle of the Iran conflict and special operations in Nigeria? And B, is this a violation of the Hatch Act, which was specifically designed to stop the federal government from taking sovereignty away from communities?
Laws are suggestion, guys. Come on. Didn't you know?
Right.
Laws are suggestion.
It's so horrible every time. Every time it happens.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. It's just in front of our eyes, and we just have to take it, you know. But that's the beautiful part, is we're going to cover these things because they're important. I didn't know this. This is going to be in the back of my head now.
I'm seeing people say, but the Democrats. The point is, we should fix the systems we all abide by.
I promise you, if the Democrats are voted in during 2028, and there's a Democrat president and he's doing wrong, and the Democrat Party is doing a bunch of wild stuff, you will be seeing us campaign against that very hard, just as much as we are campaigning against the Republicans that are neocons and the president who does not want to stop this train from leaving the tracks.
The peace president in his 8-week
the peace
war
president
that's
that
27 years long.
the peace president that renamed the Department of Defense to Department of War.
That's nice. Let's go ahead and go to breaking. Trump continues to attack Thomas Massie.
Ooh,
this is another one
is so long.
Another one of these tweets. Yeah, just go ahead and click on the photo.
Oh my Lord.
All right. I'm gonna need a glasses prescription pretty soon. The way I got to make my eyes strain. I got it. It's fine. I'm just.
I'll still pull it up.
All right. I appreciate it. All right. All right. Okay.
He's back.
All right. There's no escape from the black Spider-Man suit that is the Trump hair. You know, Peter Parker, he gets the black Spider-Man suit, and it's a symbiote from another planet that gives him, you know, adrenaline powers, but it goes and uses his body while he's asleep. Goes and fights crime. This, third-rate Congressman Thomas Massie, a weak and pathetic rhino from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, a place that I love in one big 6 times, including all primaries, must be thrown out of office ASAP. So right there, he uses a term called rhino. What that means is Republican in name only. That used to mean neocon. Now, if you're not a neocon, you're a rhino. I just want to explain
Changing
that to people there.
definitions.
He is the worst Republican congressman in history, voting against tax cuts, the wall, law enforcement, in favor of the transgender mutilization of our children. Not even a word, mutilization. of our children, men playing in women's sports, and so many more horrible things. The incredible people of Kentucky's 4th Congressional District gave us a mandate to make America great again, and the person that will help us do that is Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, and 5th-generation Kentucky farmer, Captain Ed Gowron, a true America First patriot. He has no political platform. He has no ideology. He is an empty suit, and sure, he did those things. Doing those things doesn't give you the right to be a public servant.
You know that Buzz Lightyear movie?
Go ahead.
They basically, like, he's in the box and you just see the thousands of...
Yes.
They went and picked him off the shelf. They're like, I want this Buzz Lightyear.
I want that one.
Yeah, and they put him there, and now they're campaigning.
Yes, a brave combat veteran, Ed knows the wisdom and courage required to defend our country, support military veterans, and ensure peace through strength. So supporting our military/veterans means getting people killed. I guess that's what it means, because Ed Gowron wants the war to end.
Absolutely.
And this guy's in favor of a draft, by the way. This guy's in favor of conscription. So that puts him in the same boat as, some of the people in the EU and some of the people around the world that are for that as well. And, you get revolts against that even in Israel. They don't want to do that. Additionally, as a very successful businessman, Ed knows how to create great jobs, blah, 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 glaze, blah. I'm not even going to read it. The great people of Kentucky are wise to Massey. He only votes against the Republican Party. He votes with Trump 91% of the time, making life very easy for the radical left, unlike lightweight Massey, a totally ineffective loser who has failed us so badly. Captain Ed Gowron is a winner who will not let you down. Saying it don't make it true, Trump. What do you
Yes, it does, Rex. Stop being racist,
right,
bro.
being super racist.
Oh, my gosh.
Captain Ed Gowron is a winner, blah, blah, blah. Election day is Tuesday, May 19th. Vote for Ed Gowron. He has my complete and total endorsement. Make America great again. All right, that's enough of that. I don't want to have that thing on my head anymore.
Okay.
JT.
Let's get into...
Well, really quick, what do you think of all that?
Okay, what do I think about this?
What's your perspective?
Let me think about this.
Would that convince you as a voter?
Of course. I'll ride with if my buddy Trump is in a fight.
My buddy Trump is in a fight.
I'm in a fight.
I'm in a fight too.
Right?
We've literally had people call in, and it's like a cartoon. It is literally a cartoon.
If my diesel goes up to $7 a gallon, $20 a gallon, I don't care. I'm gonna support my man because he's my main man.
They're in love with them. They're literally in love with Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen. What's the next thing in the Google Doc?
Let's see.
And we got a DOG walking around the studio right
He's restless right now.
A little restless. Let's go to Massey tweet 1.
Oh, did he respond to this?
Yeah, it's just a little quotation. This is him responding to an article. Let me read the article really quick. Will you click on the photograph?
Yeah.
But even Massey's detractors acknowledge it will be difficult to pick off an incumbent, particularly one with entrenched support in a district that mirrors his libertarian streak. If he wins, the battle will continue, said Stan Markstein, the RJC National Political Director. I think that's Republican Jewish Congress or something like that. We do not expect that to be the case. We expect to win on Tuesday. And then Massey says, notably, after conceding it would be hard for them to beat me, the Republican Jewish Coalition's director says that he expects we to win. He does not say he expects Ed to win. That's because Ed is their puppet and they are running this race.
That's such a valid point there.
Wow. I mean, here's the thing. That's the thing. It's like, that's their guy, our guy. It's just the money's guy. It's not just them. It's everybody else.
There's no other way to interpret this.
Right.
But you know what? There are people that will literally try to interpret this somewhat to just be able to stick to their guns because they're so trying to cling on to hope that this is the right thing, and people are just in this sunk cost fallacy where they don't want to give up on the team.
But it's better than the Democrats. Even if they rape us, it's better. And it's like you're a battered wife. It's literally the situation.
You like this?
Yeah, it's a pimp slap.
And it's like, come on now.
Yeah,
we're better than that.
Seriously, and they want to scare. They want to scare us into, just supporting anything and everything they put in front of us. Like I said earlier, it shows our coalition is weak. And really, I pray. Oh, we got a super
chat.
Yeah, it's gonna pop up in the feed.
Yeah, it takes a second.
And go ahead and show the next thing, which is
if you guys could do a favor and retweet the stream, that would be massive. We want to get as many people in here. We've got a great deep dive coming up, as well as some other news, breaking news.
Yes, please retweet. Please
that?
Subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, Rumble, X, Gray Area Talks. It's all the same name. Yeah, where's the donation?
I don't know.
We're really sorry. The person that donated, it's not popping up for us. We love you. Shout out to you.
I'll find it later.
We'll find it later. We'll give you the credit. I want to go to this. I want to go to the next thing in there because it's not just Massey.
The Eric Doherty post.
It's anybody that is supporting Massey and the Republican Party. So Trump is now calling for Lauren Boebert, someone that worked for him very hard, in 2024. He's coming after her, saying, "Hey, basically need to find a warm body to replace." He's literally like, "Does anybody who can be that dumb deserves a good primary fight?" This is Trump. Even though I long ago endorsed Boebert, if the right person came along, it would be my honor to withdraw. It would be his honor to withdraw that endorsement and endorse a good and proper alternative. Just let me know or announce your candidacy. I'll be there for you. Multiple tweets, is anyone interested in running against the weak-minded Lauren Boebert in Colorado's 4th Congressional District? You remember Lauren moved to the district when it became obvious that she couldn't win in her original congressional district. The 3rd, a carpetbagger indeed. And carpetbagger is Southern parlance for someone that moved from the north to the south during Reconstruction after Civil War.
He's so smart.
And they bought up assets from people that couldn't afford to keep them. And they put everything in a carpet bag, basically. And the irony of Trump, the New York kind of gangster that's come in and, kind of grifted the country, calling people carpetbaggers, pretty extreme.
Yeah.
Boebert is campaigning for the worst Republican congressman in the history of our country, Thomas Massey of the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. And here's the thing, guys. You see the dog in here? This ain't formatted. This is us being as real as it gets.
Yeah.
Period.
100%.
So we appreciate everyone here. Please repost, retweet the stream.
Okay, so
We got more.
We got more?
We got a couple more things. Go to J.D. Vance next. I want to go to J.D. Vance talking about Thomas Massey. He does the whole Godfather thing. I like J.D., his positions, I approved of a lot of them when it went against the party. But here's the thing, you piss off enough people, you ain't going to have a future in the business anymore, kid. It ain't going to work out for you. And it's like, is this a mafia movie? Like, what is going on here? Just veiled threats?
It is. Okay, so is it
Not even veiled.
JD on Massey?
Yeah, JD on Massey. We got it. It's just video.
Okay.
I will play it.
I think the problem with Thomas, and I've told him this in private, and now I guess I'll say it in public, is it's one thing to disagree with the party on a particular issue. It's one thing to to have your independent stand on a number of questions. And by the way, some of the stuff where Thomas Massey has been independent against the Republican Party, I've agreed with him with. Thomas and I worked together during 2023, where I was trying to stop the limitless flow of American money to Ukraine, and Thomas was one of the people I was working closest with it. But that's one thing. Being independent, having your own opinions is one thing. Voting against the party on every single issue, you're eventually going to make too many enemies. And that is the problem that Thomas has had. It's not one issue. It's not 3 or 4 issues. It's that every time that we've needed Thomas for a vote, he has been completely unwilling to provide it. That is why the President of the United States has trained his ire on Thomas Massey. It's because we can never count on him for some of the most difficult votes. I wish that weren't the case. I say that as somebody who's known Thomas well before I got into politics, but politics is politics, and when you always vote against the party, you can't expect the party to actually back you.
Hey, you went against the party one too many times, kid, and I'm afraid you can't do that. You see, when we're going to pass a bill, to cover up the Epstein files, and not going to pass a bill to uncover the Epstein files, you're supposed to just shut up and accept that. When we go to war, you don't criticize the dear leader. You don't criticize the boss. You understand? It's mafia tactics.
It is mafia. 100%.
And it's even worse to go out there and be like, I like the guy, but you don't go against the party. It's creepy, man. Are we got any good people out there?
Mm-hmm.
I thought some of these people might be at least decent. They're all rotten.
All rotten.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I really did like JD very early on. Before Trump got into office, I didn't know too much about him. I looked into him a little bit. And then I also saw him on Joe Rogan. And I'm like, wow. Just a common guy's guy, common sense. He was making a couple jokes, seemed super relaxed. And I just realized that's just part of like the genjutsu and the psyop of like, gotta make them as normal. That's the script. I want you to feel like a normal person. That way they vote you in.
Right.
And then you can do whatever once you're inside. But you know what? I don't want to completely throw him under the bus because following the direction of the president.
We got Mosh Miri. I can see it's you.
Ew, Mosh Mary with the big 50. Wow. Press that.
What time is the Kahoot? I can't stop laughing. You're using that. We used it too. Of course, we're students.
Kahoot's coming up real soon.
Yeah, I've used it as a teacher, and it's great. Kahoot's coming up.
Give
now.
me. No, hold on. Give me 1 second. We can still talk, but I need to give people an ability to get some time. You need to get like either. I know it's hard to use your phone if you're watching us as well as trying to do the Kahoot. It's pretty hard. So I would suggest if you've got like your wife around, use her phone, or your husband use his phone. Maybe try to throw the stream up on the TV, and then you can use your phone. We are doing a giveaway with this Kahoot, okay? The top 3 people are going to be winning some vintage
from the office
merch from the office. These, you can't get these anymore.
My dad walked past these shirts countless times. They are in the office, and you're going to be able to get them. They've got the logo on it and everything, and that's not around anymore.
This is vintage Info Warrior gear.
You want it. We got it. You just got to win for it.
Just got to win for it. Well, the top 3 people that win will receive free merch. Okay. So what I want you guys to do is when we do have the Kahoot pop up, what's going to happen is there's either a QR code that you can scan, or you do kahoot.it. And you can join. But again, you're probably going to need a second device, or sometimes they let you move your screen to where, like if you have an iPhone and you can like minimize it to where it pops off to the side, and then you can try to use it on the same device. It is limited to 200 people. So I want as many of you guys to get in here as possible. But if it does kick you out, that means that it is full. So with that being said, you can continue.
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's just talk about this, and we don't have to show that Axios article, Wes. Let's go to Austin shooting shelter-in-place order. So this is something local. This happened today. I was sitting in here. I was actually live with Suleiman on his YouTube, working on some stuff with him, doing a little 45-minute. And I got this like Amber Alert. When you get an Amber Alert, we got a crew from over in Europe filming us right now. An Amber Alert is a system where, like somebody gets kidnapped, a kid gets abducted, whatever. They send a mass alert out to everybody to like, hey, be on the lookout for XYZ car and XYZ person doing XYZ thing. So I looked at my phone. I hadn't seen a shelter-in-place order for quite some time, like years. But apparently there are 2 suspects. One of them is in custody. There were like 9 unrelated or related shooting incidents in Austin today. I don't think anybody died. And what it sounds like to me is that they were like driving around joyride shooting at people.
You're serious.
I mean, well, 9 shootings that are all like that are all kind of tied together, and then you got 2 people that are apparently responsible.
Okay, so that's why both my phones went off. And
yes, not the Amber Alert, they just alert.
Okay, so they shut down the highways, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So what's the story? Explain this to me.
Cut back to EV Mux really quick.
Yeah.
Split second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we got it. We got it up. Does that have the map of Austin where the alert went off? Yeah, look at that. So that. People want to know what Austin is. That's Austin.
Austin's just a straight line.
No, I know, but literally that map where you have Mopac and I-35 and you got downtown, you got 78704 and some of the other major ones, as well as like parts of Westlake and parts of Bee Caves. Like that is like, people would ask me like a definition of Austin because, it's balkanized, there's a lot of big suburbs and stuff. That whole red area, like this happened to the core of Austin today.
Yeah.
This is a big deal.
Okay, so does it explain? Yeah, it does. Okay, so let's read that a little bit. I'll pull it up for you.
Breaking, here, go ahead and scroll back up, Wes. Breaking, Austin, Texas police have issued a shelter-in-place warning. I just lost it. A shelter-in-place warning for a large swath of the city seen in the below map as a shooter is going around firing at random in the area. Up to 9 shootings have taken place since last night, and 4 have been shot. Lord have mercy. 2 fire stations have also been shot at, and police are looking for suspects, possible in their late teens. Supposedly, they're switching between the vehicles. Anyone in Austin with information is encouraged to call 911 immediately. Wow, definitely don't like that. Not a fan of that. I think they got the people in custody now. And we're very lucky they didn't kill anybody. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens just in America and Austin in general, but a lot of other places way worse. The level of violence in this country, not just gun, but everything in general. We have a very sick society. We have a lot of mentally ill people in this country, and we don't have treatment options for them.
It's also just like People are getting ideas like social media. Like, remember, I know this is sensitive.
How do you have the idea to do this?
No, this is a sensitive subject, but in general,
Go ahead.
well, I mean, just like you see more violence, it gives you ideas to go and commit more violence.
Absolutely.
In certain aspects, like school shootings used to never be a thing.
True. And then Columbine.
And the first major one that like everyone started talking about, of course, was Sandy Hook. But after that point, you know, it started to kind of trickle, and then it started to flow, and then it started to explode. And it's weird because, you know, at the schools that I used to go to, you used to just be able to walk in.
Right.
And now you can't walk in anymore. They keep the doors locked, and it's a change of society. So what I'm saying in this aspect is like, you know, random people are getting crazy ideas just from being on the internet. And they're like, ooh, this is the best way to inflict. And also there's a lot of people who want attention.
Sure.
That's why they also do this.
And people want to talk about gun bans, stuff like this. I'm incredibly pro Second Amendment. The reason why I cover these things and talk about them is it's really not even a gun issue. It's a mental health crisis in the country.
It is.
It's an absolute mental health crisis. And you can just go and look at people and come to that conclusion. I mean, here, you can't go a place and not see somebody talking to the air, fighting the air.
And Austin's not a violent city by any means. It's actually one of the more peaceful major cities that I've ever lived
But
in.
it does happen. Like, for example, Jamie White, our old reporter, news writer, right? He got shot in the neck and died because he drove a Kia. And you can break into a Kia relatively easily, you know? So the Kia boys got him. And, you know, they go to court and they say, well, we want 20 years with parole. Thank God the judge said no to that deal. Thank God. But, you know, when you look at our justice system, people that go into jail, people that are going to get out of jail eventually, that situation in and of itself, our prison system is so horrible, we turn out hardened criminals.
Yep.
So, you know, it's a very complicated subject to have to address. We're getting close to having the Kahoot ready, right?
It is, but I'm going to take an intermission real quick so that I can get ready. Yeah, you guys don't want to go anywhere.
Retweet, repost. We love you.
Retweet.
Retweet. Guac, make live stream have 1 million views.
Definitely want everybody to join, because if you do win, you will be winning a piece of merch, legendary merch
Free
from InfoWars.
shipping.
And so what this game is, it's based off of the deep dive. It's kind of an introduction to the deep dive. We're going to be talking about debt. America's debt. It is out of control. It is a crisis, and I want to break it down for people. And this Kahoot is a really fun game for everybody to be involved, and you get to learn at the same time. We're just taking it back in the day. I remember high school like it was yesterday.
We love it. Answers on the board.
All right, let's go ahead, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, it's right now. I'll pull it up in a second. When I come back, you'll see I'll have the screen up. You can scan the QR code. You can type in. I'll wait. I'll let people come in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, give me 1 second. The coot noise is going off. I'm going to mute this real quick. I am your game host, Jerome Powell. With the hat off, you know, it does look like Jerome Powell. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? We're about to play a nice little game. U.S. debt. Winner wins a free t-shirt from InfoWars. The top 3 contestants. What I'm going to do here shortly, guys, is I'm going to throw this Kahoot link up for you guys to join, okay? Give me 1 second, Wes. I'm going to take control of the wheel. Like they said, Jesus, take the wheel. That is what I'm about to do. Give me 1 second. Rex will also be back. Rupert's being a little tiresome. And we'll go Chrome tab. And we will go here. And okay, give me 1 second, guys. I'm almost there. Yes, Abraham Lincoln was black, if you guys did not know. The tie is I'm a politician, guys. What do you mean? What about the tie? Why the tie? Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go here. I do this for the love of the game, guys. I really do love doing this. You guys have no idea. Like, this is all I was thinking about the entire day. Okay, so we're gonna replace screen with my screen. And then, Wes, you can get it afterwards after I'm done. But add to scene here. Ooh, shoot. Oh. There we go. Replace there. All right, here we go. I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you guys. All right, so what I want you guys to do here is go to kahoot.it. And you can go and join the game. And what you're going to do is you're going to put this game pin. It's going to prompt you. You're going to put this pin in, and it's going to start the game. We're going to wait for everybody to get in. Chase Geyser's in the house, or is this guy's? It's probably somebody else. Anyways, we will wait. We've got our first guy in here. We need as many people playing this game as possible. I see Holly. I see Goy Pop. Okay, I'm going to wait until we get as many people in here as possible. This game is going to be very fun. This is the interactive stuff that we like to do. And again, the winner wins some free gear. So you are going to want to join this. Make sure you guys retweet if people are confused about where to go. I need you in the YouTube chat to put the link in there. If you're in the Rumble chat, put the link in there. If you're in X, put the link in there. We want as many people in here as possible. We can hold up to 200 people. Once it's 200, it's limited from there. It is gone. The seats are gone. You cannot win. So we will wait a bit until we get everybody in here. more seconds to get in. I know there's a bunch of you guys. You can still join. Again, it's very easy. If you've never played this, it is super easy. It's multiple choice. You join in. Oh, we got people coming in. We got people coming in. Maureen. If Maureen, this sweet lady who we love, can do this, all the rest of you can also join in. It is very easy to join this Kahoot. Okay? So we're giving you guys like 20 more seconds.
We're getting ready to get started here, folks.
Actually, when this music ends 35 seconds from now, we will be beginning. Again, you could win some free merch.
We've started the countdown timer. Now, it's a big number. I can't exactly read it. 23, 22. It's a big number. I can't count that high.
Now, keep in mind.
Shout out Ivan with the $2.
Yeah, Ivan, we appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Okay, time is up. We are going to get started with this game. After the show, the top 3 winners will be winning. It's very simple. The rules of the game are as follow. All you got to do is click on the right answer. If you get the most answers correct, they give you points for each answer you get correct. The people who have the highest amount of points by the end of this game win. Okay? All right, let's get started.
Wow, the music is crazy. Okay.
U.S. debt quiz. First question. In 2025, the U.S. spent more money on which?
In 2025, U.S. spent more money on which one than on the entire military? Which one did they spend more money on? Foreign aid, border security, education, interest on the national debt. This is an easier one.
Ooh, the correct answer was interest on the national debt. 4 people have gotten that right. And there's people who didn't answer. There's a bunch of people in here. Only 8 people answered. Some people didn't know.
Let's go.
You only get 30 seconds to answer the question here, guys.
These ones are quick. I'll fire them off.
Scoreboard.
Guys Chaser.
Guys Chaser is in first. Mosh Mary.
Followed by
He's in
Info
second.
Warrior. Followed by Show Your Teeth. Followed by Holly.
All right. Next question.
Which country holds the most U.S. Treasury debt among foreign countries? Saudi Arabia, China, Russia, or Japan? Okay.
It is Japan.
That's right.
6 of you guys got that question right. Yeah, a lot of people think it's China. We're going to break that down once we get into the deep dive. It is not China. China's they're not at the number 1 spot.
Japan, little fun fact, 250% debt to GDP ratio.
Yeah, it is outrageous. But we will cover that in the deep dive. All right. Let's see the scoreboard here.
We got Info Warrior moving up. Guys Chaser still at the top. Rex Brown, number 3, then Mosh, then Patriot. Let's go to the next question. When Congress talks about raising the debt ceiling, what is it actually doing? Doing Treasury, pay bills are inflated, cancel debt, spending, or printing money.
Okay, the correct answer. Only 2 people. Wow. Triangle. It is giving Treasury room to pay the bills it's already created. I know it's very easy. Like printing new money is the easiest option. I'll cover that also in the deep dive. A lot of these questions are being built up for you guys to understand what's really happening here. Yeah, you're not going to be able to say.
I want to see where they're at. I want to see the leaderboard.
All right, leaderboard. Let's see it.
All right, Guys Chaser, very smart noggin on you.
He is winning every. Are you cheating? No. Are you cheating?
No, he doesn't have time.
Yeah, you don't actually have time.
Number 2,
smart man.
84. Looks like he might win the whole thing. You guys got to jump in there and get involved. All right, let's go to the next question. Which of these ridiculous sounding projects actually receive taxpayer money? training goats to detect airport explosives, studying whether goldfish got jealous, teaching raccoons to sort recyclable trash. That sounds dumb enough for us to do. Or injecting hamsters with steroids, then putting them into fights.
And the correct answer is injecting hamsters with steroids and putting them into fights.
You wanted it, you got it. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to pay to put the hamsters on drugs and have them fight each other. Somebody had to do it.
Someone had to do it. You know, these are important questions that the United States needs to answer.
Right, and that was a total wild card. Let's see how that shook things up.
How?
Dang,
Wow. Guys
impressive.
Chaser's just on fuego.
And very impressive. All right, let's go to the next one. Which of these bizarre studies was actually funded with taxpayer money? Whether squirrels can recognize political campaign signs, whether cows produce more milk after listening to podcasts, whether pigeons prefer jazz over country music, whether cocaine makes Japanese quail more sexually motivated. I know which one it is. Do you? That's right. We
Wow.
give cocaine to the
You know, it's like the crazier it sounds, the more obvious it is for the audience.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Like,
It's too mild to, they don't like music. They like drugs. Of course, that's American.
all right, let's see the scoreboard.
Well done.
Wow.
Info Warrior, you can take the crown. You can seize it.
You can. You're actually pretty close. If you get the next two and Guys Chaser actually gets it wrong, you might surpass him.
Which strange entertainment project received $1.7 million in federal funding? A traveling circus for retiring politicians, a hologram comedy club with dead comedians, a museum dedicated only to bad karaoke, or a national campaign for government office pranks?
And the correct answer is a hologram comedy club with dead comedians.
That's bizarre because it's like a museum or something.
Wow. That's where it went.
Just another example.
Just another example. Let's see the scoreboard. Win. All right.
Locked
Show your
in
teeth
firm.
is coming up close. That second spot is close.
Yeah, you guys got to fight for those T-shirts. Come on, let's use the gray matter.
All right. I think we
On
only
the
got
gray area.
I think we only got 2 more questions for you guys to get right. This race is close.
For every $1 the federal government collected in 2025, about how much did it spend? $1.18, $1.08, $1.34, $1.60.
And the correct answer was $1.34.
Sneaky, Tim.
Sneaky.
Sneaky. Because you'd think it would be the biggest number possible.
Yeah.
Big, beautiful debt. Big, beautiful debt numbers, let me tell you.
So for every dollar we spent, for every dollar we collected, we spent $1.34. That's very sustainable, folks.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, let's see the scoreboard. Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
Neck and neck.
This is
neck and neck.
This is the final question. Let us see who is going to come in the top 3. This is intense, ladies and gentlemen.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Okay, last question. This is for all the money. Remember, the top 3 people get to win InfoWars gear.
The U.S. paid off its national debt only once. What year did that happen? Subject. 1945, 1835, 1776, 1999. What's the correct answer? Right there in front of you. You know where to look for it.
And the correct answer is 1835. We had 10 people that win. All right. Let us see, drum roll please, who is the winner of the Kahoot government debt game?
Kenny gets a shirt.
Kenny at number 3.
Lee Fossey gets a shirt.
And at number 1, we have
Sir, again,
wow,
incredible username. Good for you.
incredible.
You get
Cut back to us real quick.
deep dive.
Deep dive.
We're getting into the deep waters.
Okay, now
Now you're drunk.
I am now Jerome Powell. I'm no longer the game show man. Isn't this?
But wait! I thought I got rid of you or something, or I was like gonna make you leave or whatever because you wouldn't let me make more debt, or you wouldn't lower the interest rates.
Well, you see, Mr. President, that's not how the financial system works.
But the financial system works. However, I tell it how to work because I'm the president, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in as long as possible to make sure that you don't mess up this country.
Uh oh.
All right, let's go ahead and get
So let's get into it. Let me exit out of this. Did you guys enjoy this Kahoot game? I had a little bit of nostalgia. You know, that I used to do this back in high school.
I'm doing this too, dude.
I think this is just a great way for you guys to interact and just kind of feel like you're part of the show. I love doing these things. I'm going to be doing more of them as well. Like I said, tonight is a special night. So the top 3 people, actually, let me take a picture so people don't like forget.
Okay, well, you don't have to brag about how smart you are. All right,
who said that?
That's a douchey thing to do. You get the T-shirt of choice anyway.
Who said that?
It's just. I skipped the 3 questions. Whatever. We appreciate you. Check out the big brain.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a picture of that. All right, those 3 winners, please DM me whenever at your earliest
We'll get it
convenience.
to you again. Free shipping, the fulfillment center, and all of it. It'll cost me like
Okay.
$8 a shirt, whatever.
Okay, so let me go to. Sorry, I'm gonna pull up the drive here and pull this up.
Put up
for
deep
you.
dive.
Yeah, pull up the deep dive.
Trump hair like siphons the energy out of me.
I know.
47 years. We've been at war for 47 years, but it's only been 8 weeks, actually. It's an 8-week war, and it's not even a war. It's a little excursion. It's a little, detour that we had to do, but it's also been going on for 47 years. Woo!
Oh,
Damn.
man. Okay, I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there.
You're good. You're good. I'm
Okay.
being overcome by Trump right now. I'm turning into Donald.
Okay, so let us start at the top here. All right. Key question is we're talking about America's debt problem, and it's already here. We already know it exists.
Right.
But it's framed kind of like this disaster waiting to happen in the future, but like the damage is already showing up. Let's be real, guys. All right. So in 2025, the government spent $970 billion, billion dollars with a B. Okay. And that is more. That was just on the interest. That was just on the interest. And so now that is more than the actual defense spending itself. So, I mean, this is really scary. Let's pull up this graphic here, Wes, because
I can go ahead and pull them up for you while you're working on it. I got you.
The interest versus defense spending picture there.
Gotcha.
You can zoom in so that we can all see this. All right. So, since the late 1920s, the U.S. has been spending more on interest than on national defense, marking the turning point in federal priorities. It is projected to hit $2.1 trillion by 2036, ladies and gentlemen. It was nice knowing you.
We always want to have the biggest numbers. It's important that the numbers got to be big, even if it's bad.
The biggest,
the most beautiful number.
Yeah, so I mean, this number, it does feel insane, and you're talking about 39 trillion as this headline, but like, what does this debt actually mean? Okay, so we talk about this thing called a deficit, which is a yearly gap in which the government spends more than it collects. Okay, everybody has seen that, and when that debt is what happens when those yearly gaps pile up for decades. It's not like a simple equation. The debt isn't like stacking in terms of like compounding interest. It's just we haven't paid off the old bills and we just keep stacking it to the new bills. So, over the shortfall, to cover the shortfall, what they do is they sell these things called treasury bonds and securities. And basically the investors are giving the government money now. And then the government decides, okay, we will pay you back later with interest. Okay. And so, this mountain of promises and everything that's happening, this is where you come into the debt ceiling. And Wes, go ahead and cut back to us real quick. The debt ceiling is not what people think it is. So that was a question that people got wrong in the Kahoot. And so what people and what Congress argues when they talk about raising the debt ceiling, most people think, oh, it's the permission to just spend more money. And that was my assumption as well. What it actually means is the Treasury needs room to borrow enough to pay the bill the government already created.
That's fun.
So it's already there. They're like, okay, we can't pay our bills if we don't increase the ceiling. And so I want you to think about this like a credit card limit. So raising the limit doesn't mean that you're just going to go on a new shopping spree. It just means the payment. It means the payment for purchases is already made and it still can be processed. They need to allow those transactions to still process. And so let's go ahead and play this video. What everyone gets wrong about global debt. Let's play that real quick. Starting at the 1 minute and 47 second mark. Can we do that?
He's got you.
You are already
Wes
quick on it. King
really,
Wes.
Really shinobi style.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead and play
On a
it.
global scale behaves a bit differently from debt on an individual level, where someone takes out a loan from someone else and then pays it back over time because, well, there is no external entity loaning money to the world. Economists often joke about this by saying that we haven't figured out how to get Martians to approve our loan applications yet. The strange nature of global debt means that it can sometimes be quite hard to fully understand, so fair warning, but stick with us here and you'll probably walk away knowing more about global debt than most of the people writing headlines about how bad our situation is. Debt is simple to think about when it's one entity that owes money to another entity that gave them the money in the first place, but debt in the global economy is also owed to the global economy. Every liability for a government, company, bank or individual is an asset for another government, company, bank or individual. When the global economy borrows money, it's not so much borrowing it from some other entity, as much as it's borrowing money from its future self. If we completely simplify global debt and assume that everything is just one single loan with an outstanding balance of $300 trillion US, then to increase this balance, we would need to spend more than we pay back to that loan.
All right. Yeah, so it's a weird equation where the whole world is in debt. And it's like, okay, well, who actually owes who and how is that process? Like, it's all imaginary. That's the best part about this equation, but it's real at the same time. And so now, you know that what debt is. And the next question that everyone starts to argue about is like, okay, what do we actually owe, guys? Because that 39 trillion is a lot of money, All right. So most people have answered that question. They think China owns most of America's debt. That picture is actually wrong. So out of roughly that 39 trillion in gross federal spending, about 31.4 trillion is public debt. You can go ahead and pull up this graphic, Wes. And about 7.6 trillion is actually the government owing other parts of itself. And so within that public debt, you've got foreign countries that do not own most of it. Domestic holders are they own far more than the foreign. In the U.S., and like we said, Japan has had more U.S. treasuries than China in early 2026. They are at the head of the table there. And so now you're like, wait. How does the government owe money to itself? And the way that happens is it comes through trust funds like Social Security.
Yup.
And so those trust funds, they hold treasuries like IOUs. But then when the IOU needs to be redeemed, the Treasury still needs real cash from taxes or cuts or more borrowing in order to actually pay for it. So look at this chart here. Let's go ahead and scroll in there. So you're seeing 31.4 trillion. These are just small numbers.
You got the domestic holders, that's 17.7 trillion.
And that splits off into, you see the branches scroll up
banking
there.
institutions, individual investors. So out of that domestic holder number, individual investors, that's 3 trillion. Banking institutions, that's 9.4 trillion. When you have the mutual and pension funds, that's 6.6 trillion. Other domestic holders, 5.7 trillion. And that's what makes up that big number there. What do you think about that?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
you know,
insane.
and then you look at like the fact that you can loan yourself in that $7.6 trillion. It really does make you understand that this is all like just a fabrication of whoever decided one day that this was going to be the system.
Right, and then you got foreign holders, and that's 9.3 trillion. And Japan has over $1 trillion of our debt. Whoa, buddy.
Whoa, buddy. All right, you can cut back to us. So, like, now let's think about this. If the debt is real, this is large, and this is misunderstood. Now, the next natural question is have we actually ever escaped this problem before? Have we ever balanced the budget?
Andrew Jackson killed the banks a long time ago.
Well, the last time is actually closer than you think, all right? The last time we ever had a surplus, let's go ahead and cue that image, Wes, of like all of the graph showing the debt over time. It was relatively recent. Well,
which one is it?
Balancing the budget. Oh, wait, no, the rare budget surplus. Sorry, go down a little bit. Oh, maybe it's that.
I think it's balancing the budget.
Yeah, it's called balancing the budget. Go ahead and pull that up for us, Wes.
That rare budget surplus.
Okay, so the number that we're looking at is actually the late 1990s into 2001. And who was in power at that point as the president?
Well, I don't want to make a comment. You know, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. You know, Donald's a friend of mine from back in the day. You know, was it me? Was it Bill? Did I get it done? Was it me?
Dude, that was literally the best
Dude,
Bill
my
Clinton.
Bill Clinton impression.
Oh, on point.
It's pretty
on
good.
point.
Pretty good.
Okay, so I mean, Bill Clinton did do his thing, but it was a combination of like actual common sense things that he did, but also perfect storm. I'm gonna break these down for you. So here's the thing that we need to talk about. So he had this rule that he put in place. It's called PAYGO. And so basically it's a rule that puts like Congress on a tighter leash. And so if lawmakers wanted to make a new tax cut at that time or a new mandatory spending program, they had to offset the cost with higher taxes and cuts somewhere else. They didn't just get to not if they did not automatically, the automatic cuts would be triggered. Okay. And so that made it much harder to just casually pile on new deficits. Right. The other thing that he did was in 1993, he brought in some tax increases that brought in more revenue. And so the top income tax rate had rose from 31% to 39.6. I bet you a bunch of rich people were pissed off for that. And then the corporate tax was raised from 34% to 35%. Okay. And then the cap on the Medicare payroll tax was removed for high earners. Okay. And so then, like I said, there's a perfect storm scenario here where we also had the dot-com bubble, or the boom, as you want to call it, which flooded the treasury with unexpected money as profits, wages, stocks, gains, all those types of things, and taxes had surged because the corporations are paying tax.
For sure.
Okay. And so then the last part of this is the peace dividend after the Cold War, which let defense spending fall and free up more room.
Really quick, I'm sorry, I got to come in here. I'm going to pull up the graph here on our end because I'm noticing something here. What happened after 2001? Because you can look before and you can look after, and some would say that we got that debt back in spades from going to war.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Pretty, correlation doesn't equal causation, but damn well does when you have the receipts, doesn't it?
Now, that big line that you see, looks like 2009, 2008.
Yeah.
What war were we in during this time period?
That's that's bailing out the banks, man.
That is bailing out the banks. You're right.
That's bailing out the banks.
But at the same time, you combine that with
Iraq, Afghanistan.
Iraq, Afghanistan. It makes the perfect combination to justify more spending.
Sure.
Oh, and then we all know about COVID.
Right. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that line. Look at 2021, folks.
And
yeah, we got Biden.
What am I doing here?
$6 trillion pumped into the economy. So now, you can cut back to us. So basically that's kind of how the deficit disappeared during that time. And, you got a tighter spending leash and higher tax revenue. And then, once in a generation economic boom, and it kind of in a lower military pressure because we just got on the Cold War. It's kind of like the perfect storm to get that surplus, but it didn't last for very long, which is so sad if you think about it, man. So,
well, I think it's a thing as to where, like, you know, heroin addict, they get clean and they're like, well, I'm gonna go back to using the dose I was using before.
it just ain't hitting right.
And then the tolerance is gone and then you die. And like, that's what we're seeing as a country. I really, it's like a drug addiction. It truly is.
I need my dose of copamine. Let's
Yes,
go.
copamine, exactly. Literally, copamine is in short supply.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now let's talk about what the government really does waste money on, and I kind of hinted at this earlier.
Is that interest versus defense spending?
We don't have an image quite yet.
Okay.
So, I mean, to be fair, Washington gives plenty of reasons, you know, that people like to think. And so, you know, the Pentagon spent nearly $94 million buying more than here's some of the most ridiculous things that we spent
Okay,
on.
lay it on me.
This is what I compiled together and what you guys were doing in Kahoot. The first one, the Pentagon spent nearly $94 million buying 1.3 million forced camouflage uniforms for Afghan soldiers. And even though the pattern was never tested for Afghanistan's environments, investigators later said that choice may have cost taxpayer up to $28 million more than necessary.
What was it, like forest green?
Yeah, forest green in the middle of the desert, folks. It don't take a rocket scientist to know what Afghanistan's terrain looks like if you just look at a simple map.
Right.
Okay, the second thing that we did. Oh, it gets better. All right. The NIH funded research whether cocaine increased the sexual motivation of Japanese quail, literally giving the male quail cocaine and studying how it changed their mating behavior.
And be like, maybe it'll make them more sexually excited. Well, go figure. Duh. They also, Tim, another famous example, they put shrimps on treadmills and we're trying to make them run fast.
My God.
These are our priorities, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, I mean, like random shrimp, they just need to run sometimes. They need to sweat off that fat, you know?
Right.
You know, I like big, beautiful shrimp. Let me tell you, these shrimp, it's like they're anorexic or something. I don't know. They just want to run, run, run. Maybe it's because we pay them millions. I don't know.
Okay. And so here's the next one. Okay, for more than 20 years, Northeastern University researchers received federal money for hamster aggression experiments. And some of those involved injecting hamsters with steroids and then putting them into a cage to see how violent the drugged animals became. And then the researcher had received millions in federal grants dating back 2 decades.
Gotta be a joke, but it's not.
It's not a joke.
And it's
Let's get ready to rumble.
And it's just like, why would you have to study these things? It's because you just have the opportunity to throw away endless trunks of money.
They're like, guys, I had the best idea to save humanity today.
Right.
Let's get some roided up hamsters and let's get them to fight each other.
Right.
Sounds like a college.
And then Dr. Evil.
And then now we've got, all right, the government also awarded about $1.7 million for the National Comedy Center in a project that was promoting a hologram comedy club where life-size versions of dead comedians could perform old routines.
And you know, you're pointing at these examples, and I can point to some bigger examples as well, like the prediction markets and all of it. The reason why these studies get run, the reason why the millions get spent is because somebody's making money off of it. Some friend somewhere is being funneled some sort of deal that you're not able to get as a small business person, as an employee, as a whatever, right?
Yep. And you're also able to siphon off some money in these grants because for some of the grants, yes, they say you got to name everything, but they're not always checking to make sure that that money is going towards what it's spent. But like, just think about it, Rex. You get an application in and the application says, well, sir, we need $1.7 million and we need $200 million for this and we need it for hamsters and cocaine. Like, how do you approve that?
Yeah, can we build a school? You know, maybe build a hospital or something like that? No. Absolutely.
We need to know if the quail are more sexually activated.
Well, on the cocaine.
Of course.
On the copamine. I like that. That's better than copium. Copamine, because it's more refined. It's a pharmaceutical product.
It's the most refined, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now we need to talk about something here where it's like, okay, this is where the story flips. Now, there was the biggest modern effort to slash all the waste And we all know what this place was. Do you remember? Doge.
We were promised, I think, like $2 trillion in cuts.
Remember the man and brought out the chainsaw. Let's get that image up for you guys.
Oh, you got that?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'll go ahead and pull up the graphic.
So, Doge was sold as this like big breakthrough where Elon Musk had floated $2 trillion in cuts. And he said, $1 trillion was a good shot. And by June of 2025, the public tally claimed about only $180 billion in savings. Now, that sounds pretty big, but look at the graphic. When you compare that to the $7 trillion federal budget, that's only 2.6%.
And they say to underpromise and to overdeliver, and never have we seen more an example of the opposite than the current Trump administration.
Yes.
It's pretty wild.
Now, let's also, Wes, go ahead and let's pull up the video that explains kind of why it was a failure, because he disappeared into the night and we had no idea what happened to Doge. It just really silently disappeared. And, some of that numbers that we just gave came under some serious scrutiny, and they claimed that, the savings were based on the maximum possible value of the contracts, but not the actual dollars that the government was likely to spend. So that's a key distinction here. Go ahead and play that video.
It's never, here's the results. It's always, here's the fine print with these folks.
Discovered that the wall was load-bearing only in the sense that it was holding up a fantasy. Investigations by Politico and Futurism revealed that Doge was using a metric known in government procurement as ceiling value to calculate its wins. When they cancelled a government contract, they didn't count the amount of money actually being spent. They counted the maximum theoretical amount that could have been spent over the lifetime of the deal. One of the more egregious examples was a shelter for migrant children. Doge claimed a savings of $2.9 billion for cancelling this contract. In reality, the shelter had been empty for a year. The agency was only paying a small retainer to keep the facility on standby. The actual cash savings from cancelling the contract was only about 4% of the headline figure. This wasn't an isolated error, it was the entire Doge methodology. Further investigation revealed that roughly $4 billion of the claimed savings came from indefinite delivery vehicles, which are flexible framework contracts that allow agencies to order services if and when they need them. As procurement law expert Jessica Tillipman noted, claiming these as savings is the equivalent of basically taking out a credit card with a $20,000 credit limit, cancelling it, and then saying, I've just saved $20,000. You obviously haven't saved a dime. You've simply destroyed your line of credit.
Okay, so what do you think about, cut back to us real quick. So what do you think about when you heard about Doge, what Elon was, oh, give us a second.
We got another super chat. I think it'll pop up here in a second, and I definitely have an answer for you.
Give me 1 second.
We're gonna
All right, we'll do this after. We'll read his thing after. All right, so what did you think about Doge when Elon came? Okay, the super chats.
Yeah, we gotta.
Let me. I gotta catch the question in its whole section for me to
No, it's all right. Let me answer.
All right, so
really quick.
What did you think about Doge when Elon said he's coming in and he's clearing it out, and Trump said that this was the thing that he was campaigning on?
Well, the problem is when you make a promise like this, especially when you make it a cornerstone of the campaign, all these things, whether it's the no new wars, whether it's the low inflation, whether it's Doge, whether it's Epstein for that matter, those are kind of actually the 4 pillars of what Trump ran on, and all the people that therefore he appointed also ran on to get appointed in 2024. You get Elon coming in. We got all this news about the magic money computers.
Yep.
Like, hey, you can just send money and we don't know where it comes from. We don't know where it goes. And we're going to poke around with the Pentagon. And once they started talking about defense spending, once they started talking about looking into the military and stuff like this, it got finito. And we saw, of course, Elon and Trump's public falling out. I think that was a direct result of Elon getting too close to an actual problem. And then Trump saying, wait, we're not actually here to fix anything. You shut up. And Elon goes, but I don't. And he goes, you want to keep your contracts, you're going to shut your mouth.
Yeah,
and that's what you get.
And I think it's not even just that. When they were cutting, it's these young, ambitious, like 20-something-year-olds that are going in and they're using AI and they're figuring out what it is. The waste and the fraud is real, but there's a lot of intertwined places where like there's a butterfly effect and you had no idea what the impact was going to be, because what you saw was some of those programs had to be reinstated because they were like, sorry, we actually needed that. And so this problem is a lot bigger than people realize. And I mean, I have to give, Elon credit. I mean, I know what he was trying to do. This is something that I truly believed in. I think every American, when it came down to that election, this was like the number 1 or 2 issue that we all voted on.
Right. But what we're realizing now is that you don't get to vote for change. You don't get to actually have these things happen when you put somebody in government, because they're just going to do what the government does.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of an autonomous enemy at this, it is an enemy. It's a Freudian slip, but it's an autonomous enemy that we do not control, that oppresses us, that taxes us, that makes us pay for all these conflicts, for all this debt. And what do we get out of it? But, just a slightly worse society year after year after year after year.
Right.
That's what the debt reflects, by the way.
That is what the debt reflects.
The debt reflects a worse society.
And, so we talk about, this absurd waste. It is real. And, Doge, the problem is it barely moved the needle. And so you're like, okay, where is all of this money going?
Right.
Because we only highlighted like these small, ridiculous amounts, and those aren't even hitting like 0.01% of what's actually being spent. So most of the budget is actually already locked up. Now, the issue here is we have 59% of the budget that is going towards these mandatory programs. So we have discretionary spending and non-discretionary spending. And the non-discretionary spending is what you see like when you talk about like military or these other programs. Mandatory is things like, okay, Medicaid, Medicare, government veteran assistance programs, those types of things, which are a vast majority. And you look at this, we'll read this real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, not much wriggle room. Most of the federal budget is already tied up. In fiscal year 2025, mandatory spending made up 59% of total federal spending. Interest payments consume 14% of the budget, slightly more than defense at 13%, leaving relatively little room elsewhere. Mandatory, 59. Defense, they'll argue that's mandatory, 13.
No. Defense isn't even mandatory.
Okay. Education, 2%. Transportation, 2%. Other discretionary, 10%. Interest payments, 14%. So we get 14%, maybe, and that's like a high number of what is the scraps. Oliver Twist, may I have some more?
Hey, we want our country to be smart. That's why we do 2%, guys.
Right.
Now, I mean, look, I'm making fun of this situation, but this is a delicate situation. Like when you talk about 59%, right? So what it proves is like, while the waste is super invigorating and enraging, the debt is a structural problem, right? So you've got these giant spending categories that matter far more than these viral examples. And so, like, we got to talk about it. So, in 2025, the federal government ran about a deficit about $1.775 trillion.
Wow.
All right. Now, imagine politicians are refusing to touch social care, Medicare, defense, and then interest on the debt. All of those stacked together. So, to close the deficit without even touching those 4 items, Washington would have to cut about 69% of everything else. And that's not like 69% of waste. That's just 69% of everything else. You're talking about veterans programs, transportation, education, justice, research, housing support, food assistance, diplomacy, all of those things. So this is why the line is like, just cut spending sounds tough, but it also almost means nothing because the math is very hard. It's viscous. It's hard to push through because we've bloated ourselves to where all of these things are entrenched. And so what this proves...
We're a puffer fish.
Yeah, we're a puffer fish.
We're a puffer... Trump is a puffer fish.
100%. And so, what it proves is there's no painless path to actually balance the budget. I mean, this is a serious deficit reduction that immediately forces, it creates politically explosive trade-offs. I mean, imagine the people who are just turning 64.
Right.
Or whatever the number is.
Right.
And you're up to get your Social Security.
Yeah, well, you said the safety net. You paid into it.
Hey, so do you ever been in line and it's like your turn to like go up, and they're like, "Yeah, sorry, we're closing
Yes,
it."
yeah,
That would piss me royally.
Right.
Okay. So it is very hard because you paid into that system for probably like you worked at 20 years old. So probably you put into that system for 45 years. And then they're like, suddenly like, sorry, you can't get your benefits.
You work for half a century. Sorry, you don't get to be taken care of. And like that was like, it's part of the American deal, or it was for such a long period of time. People our age, we don't even think about it. We're like, it's not happening.
We're like, yeah, Social Security, it ain't even going to be around.
Social whatever. But I hope we can be social.
but I get why I have to pay into the system, because when it was created, it was kind of like a social program that said, hey, you help me out now, I'll help you out later. And it was supposed to be one of those things where like the older population, that they struggled. They needed something to actually to be able to prop up. But now you talk about things like, you know, people aren't having as many kids. You know, you talk about there's so many baby boomers that have become ready for these benefits, and there's just more people that require, and it's straining. It's very hard equation when we talk about
right,
this.
and it makes sense as to like, you know, an older population voting for more government spending, because they're like, hey, you know, at least some of this is going to get kicked back to us. I mean, think about the amount of senior citizens that back Trump based on his support of Medicare and Medicaid, and these are really unsustainable programs that he's hurt.
Yeah, 100%. So, you know, I mean, look, what this kind of proves is like, while America keeps kind of choosing the same escape route, I mean, it's borrow now or fight later. That's pretty much what we're at. Okay. And so when you look at it, so how did debt become America's like escape hatch? Like here's the real story here underneath the number. So the America's debt didn't explode by like one president, one party, or one dumb program. What ended up happening is it kept growing every time because the country hit a painful choice, and it made debt easier to delay the answer. And so you talk about these things like there was a surplus era. All right. You've got tax cuts and war spending, which pushed the deficits back up. To your point, the 2008 crisis triggered another debt surge where they had to bail the banks and they had to do all of these different things. COVID, $6 trillion. I mean, look, they decided to shut down the entire economy. You've got to do something last minute in order to fix the problem.
And that's really America destroyed by design, because you can look at the impact of COVID. We were lied to about so much, especially regarding transmission, lethality, and the vaccine. And you can't shut down an entire country.
Can't shut down
especially not this one.
Yes.
Where the economy is based on people spending money.
Right.
When you interrupt that, you create debt, because everyone that has the business where people are going to spend the money, and they've got to get paid.
100%. And I want you guys to understand how intricate this whole process is. The reason why we're spending more on interest than the national, the budget of our military is because those interest rates are also tied to the bonds. And when we had to raise interest rates, we rose the interest rates so that we could attract people in. So it was appealing for us to actually borrow debt go into the system.
I found a way to fix the problem. People told me you can't fix the problem. I fixed it like no one you've ever seen before. Tim, you're very critical. Jerome Powell, you're very critical about the service on the debt being bigger than the military spending. In 2027, we will spend $1.5 trillion on our big, beautiful military, and then that number will be bigger than the number to service our debt for a little while. Okay, but I did it. It's a big win, big win.
So when you talk about Jerome Powell,
sure.
The reason why he was so angry was because he wanted Powell to lower the interest rates for multiple reasons. One, because it's not sustainable to keep paying interest rates at that high.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so it's a real problem. It's all intertwined. And he thought it would also affect mortgage rates. It would also affect car loans, those types of things. But it's all intertwined. So now, you know, Washington borrows. You know, that is the hidden machine, and the debt became the pressure valve for every choice in the political system refused to settle. And so what ends up happening is like, all right, will America collapse tomorrow? That is the question that everyone is wondering, because you're like, debt clock, crisis. And, you know, it is a serious thing. And it's like, all right, the real question is like, okay, how much room do we have left before the debt starts making choices for us and it becomes a really big problem? All right. So the runway is shrinking, guys. This ain't a joke. America is not a broke household about to miss rent tomorrow. You know, it borrows its own currency. So treasury bonds are still at the center of global finance.
We print IOUs that we were able to trade for real physical assets or resources. That system is based on the petrodollar, which of course used to be gold standard. We've talked about that many times on the show. That's going away.
Gone, gone, gone. And so, you know, the thing is the CBO, it projects that the debt held by public rising from about 99% of GDP by the end of 2025 to about 120% by 2036 and 175% by 2056.
Banana Republic.
And remember, at the same time, we talked about that interest raising from $1 trillion to more than $2.1 trillion by 2036. That's only 10 years away.
A 3-hour tour.
I don't know about you. I plan on being here in 10 years. I'm going to be here. Rex is going to be here.
No, it's okay. So you just got to be a billionaire and have a private island. Then
yeah.
We know what happens there. We know what happens about that. But hey, you're insulated, right? You're away.
So we got these things. It's a slow squeeze. You've got more money disappearing into interest. You've got less flexibility during the next crisis. You've got harder tax and benefits to fight later, okay? And then now, eventually, the markets are demanding a higher price to keep Washington funded. Let's go ahead and play this clip because this is really when does the U.S. debt get genuinely bad? I want you guys to pay attention here.
Obviously, the big one.
That is the key. You heard that? When countries feel like the United States is basically not trustworthy, they are like, I want more assurance on that investment because I don't trust you. And remember, 3 different times, guys, on all of the biggest credit ratings, they all downgraded us from the highest level to the second highest level. All of them.
You don't trust me? You don't think I'm a stable genius? You know, I've taken all the tests, you know, person, plane, TV, phone. I remember it all, you know.
Is this trustworthy to you? I look back at it. I look back at supporting it. I'm just like, man, oh boy. But
it's crazy, man. And so, like, I think about these things, and you know, America didn't just stumble into this debt problem. It kind of kept postponing, and all these painful choices until, like, I mean, it literally becomes one of the biggest bills, and you can't ignore it. Everyone kicked the can down the road.
Sure.
Every single person. Because it really is a hard problem to figure out. Oh, we can do this real quick. Go ahead and pull that up, Wes. Go ahead and throw that up.
Yeah, let's throw up the U.S. national debt.
Oh, yeah, we love it.
43,680 billion.
Oh, yeah.
Million. And it's about to hit 548 million. You can literally watch it. Just ticked up right now. And then it's on the counting. It's another $1 million like every 10 seconds, basically. Every 15 seconds, another $1 million. Debt per citizen, I owe $122,000.
Burn, baby, burn.
Literally.
That's your tax money.
Literally.
Burn, baby, burn.
Debt per taxpayer. What?
Yeah,
because
man.
Taxpayer.
Yeah.
$370,000 that we owe as taxpayers. And then the U.S. federal budget deficit is over $1 trillion.
I'm just going to go on welfare, man. I decided.
Yeah, you know, it's time. We're all just going to have like 8 kids and we're going to get benefits.
I think it's time to go on welfare. That is my decision of the day.
Can you get nicotine pouches with food stamps? If you can, I might be interested.
No, you can't. It has to be for food. And sometimes I think you can buy toilet paper and paper towel with it. I used to be on food stamps back in the day. Fun fact. Anyways, the last thing is, so we got to talk about solutions here. We got to bring the white pill. We got to bring, like, how do we get out of this mess? And I'm sorry, guys. There's, like, no easy way. There's no easy way to say it.
It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt. There's got to be a lot of pain. There is no small fix left, right? So waste should be cut. Defense spending should be cut too. But the whole is actually bigger than either one of those, all right? So like I said, in 2025, the deficit was about $1.8 trillion. Even if the entire defense budget was cut, that's only $893 billion. So the government would still end up being $900 billion within the red. And then there's the interest, right? We spent about $970 billion on interest in 2025, right? So it's not something that like Congress can just cancel. Imagine you put an investment in something and they said suddenly one day, sorry, sir, we're not going to pay you anymore.
Kinda expect it now.
That would collapse the entire economy. So that debt is already in the books. It has to be paid. All right. And so now here's the equation. So some of the real money is in taxes, Social Security, and Medicare. And these are all the items that politicians are afraid to touch. And that is because we need to get to an equation, and this is how you do it. You have to bring in more revenue, and you have to make cuts to programs at the same time and stop the spending.
And, you know, maybe we don't need 700 military bases. Maybe that might be a good place to start.
And the only way that you get more revenue is if you have more taxes coming in, which means companies have to be doing well. That means they have to be making money. And our economy is a little bit backwards. So like the only solution here, it's a simple equation. You have to bring in more money and you have to spend less. And there's no real way that we can stop spending on the Medicaid or Medicare. The only slight solution that you could do with that is people who are already making above a certain threshold where they're like high income earners who don't need the tax money. You could start there, but it is a really hard equation because there's a lot of people who will actually need that. I don't want to be working when I'm 70.
I think that there is fat to trim, but we're going to trim it when we're starving. And that's kind of going to be the issue, right? We're going to trim it in a desperate need to feed ourselves. And because we aren't there yet, that hasn't really sunk in for people, but it is coming. Excellent deep dive.
That is the end of the deep dive, guys.
Wow.
I want to know what you guys think.
Yeah, y'all might want to come in here with the camera one last time and show the audience. We got 2.3 K people in here. We got 2,300 people in the stream here tonight. Really appreciate everyone who showed up.
Every single person that showed up. I hope you guys had fun playing the game. I mean, these are serious issues, guys. Like, we try to make light and we try to educate you guys in a fun way. But I mean, as I don't like to be black-pilled, but it really is a difficult situation for us to address.
That's why it's the gray area. We're looking for the truth in the middle, and we appreciate every single person here tonight. We got to tell you, you got to follow, you got to subscribe. Gray Area Talks. The name is the same across all socials. Talking YouTube, talking Rumble, talking X. Got to follow Truism Tim on X.
I would appreciate a follow, guys.
Yeah, Truism Tim on X. Linked in my profile. Phenomenal deep dive every single Sunday. We do the show Tuesday morning, Thursday evening, and Sunday evening for you guys.
Yes, we do. And then I also have, I think Wes has this up, I have a newsletter that I have been putting articles out, which are like mini deep dives. If you liked this, you can go to our newsletter, which basically has articles that I have either not done deep dives about or I may be in the future.
Coming soon.
And it's really good for less than a cup of coffee. I mean, Starbucks is like $6 for just a regular coffee.
We plug the supplement products because the supplement products can improve a lot of people's lives. But here's the thing. For $5 a month, if you're a fan of the show, if you show up for Gray Area weekend after weekend, day after day, then you might as well contribute to our growth because we're going to grow with you. You're going to get a lot out of this.
100%. You can go to Gray Area Files. There's deep dives about multiple things. I put a lot of effort into these. So this is kind of one of those 360 wins. I wanted it to be like low, something that you don't have to think about, but you're getting a lot of value out of. So we really appreciate you guys.
Come back to the chat room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's read a couple of chats. It's hard. I know some people are like, you guys don't read the chats. It's really hard. You don't understand. You guys are super engaged.
Very engaged, and we appreciate it, and we love you, and we see the best ones, and oftentimes we comment on them. Yeah, and I see someone saying it's very sad they rob generations of their future generational wealth. I totally agree with you, man. And we got so many people in here that are just coming together of all walks of life, all races, colors, and creeds, coming together to say enough. We deserve better as Americans. If America is going to be the greatest country in the world, then it's got to actually treat its citizens like we live.
Radical change needs to happen. That's the whole point of the show, guys.
Totally agree. And you can follow us at Gray Area Talks on YouTube, on Rumble, and on X. And that's Truism Tim. It's linked in my profile. I'm linked in Tim's profile as well. Really appreciate the support because this is about spreading the message. Are you receiving the transmission? Are you going to share it with people? Are you going to get it out there? We believe you will. That's why we're here. And that's why we're doing this.
And the difference between this show and the next one is we genuinely think about how do we educate people at the same time as entertainment. A lot of these guys will just come on. They're like, I think I got a few things prepped. Let me just throw it on the screen and I'll just go through a monologue and explain the same thing over and over again. I wanted this to be like, Rex brings in that beautiful news, what's happening, and then kind of we could get into something specific that's important to you guys.
Shotgun sniper rifle approach.
Right?
And that's what we do here. And we provide both the on-the-ground microscopic view and the 30,000-foot view so you can truly understand. It's like the blind man and the elephant.
Right.
We're going to help you see.
And if you've noticed, we platform both sides and people in the middle.
Absolutely.
It is not like we say, a circle jerk.
It's not a circle jerk.
And this is right-leaning. Even though, we have been on InfoWars and a bunch of other different things, we are our own voice, and we want to bring that voice, and we know you guys are here because you resonate with that voice.
Yes, it's anti-government, it's radical centrism, it's taking the best parts of the left, the best parts of the right, and saying, hey, why does this have to be an elephant? I'm not an elephant. I'm a human being.
And I want you guys to understand one thing. When we say anti-government, it's anti-this government. It's not like government is bad. No, you do need an entity that actually allows there to be law and order. Police are important so that you don't have weird guys running around driving and shooting people up. Otherwise, that would be the regular thing. Structure is important. People want to be able to feel safe. So we do need a government, but we need a government that works for us for our benefit.
Some would call that by and for the people. Some would call that the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
And that was what our founding fathers built this country on.
Absolutely.
They wanted to escape the monarchy. They wanted to escape persecution for ideas. They wanted to have a free market where everybody had the ability to speak freely.
And that's why, as Americans, we have the right to talk about these things with the First Amendment. That's why we have the right for a redress of grievances and to say, just like the founding fathers did, this government isn't representative.
And the last thing that I'll say, one of the big messages that I have on this show, we don't have to be polarizing. We don't have to create more divisive nature and all this structure. Do you know what's happening right now? It actually pisses me off when I'm seeing a new race war start. I thought we were behind this, guys.
Right. Well,
you have one guy that has been made the martyr, Chud the Builder, whatever he's going around, he's antagonizing. I am.
Go ahead.
Whether you believe he should be prosecuted how he's doing, he has now started with all of these different events. Had he not gone and antagonized and been like, I feel like he's a Fed at this point. If you want a real mission for somebody to get behind and be like, white people are racist, you plaster that guy as your champion. But I know for a fact that the average person isn't.
I want to make a grander point here. So I defended Chud the Builder's First Amendment right. That being said, we live in a society, right? And we're living in a society where polarization is rewarded, hatred is rewarded, division is rewarded. Why? Because that's what people in power want. They want us to fight with each other on things like race, sexuality, religion, all these
100%.
things. We are Americans. We are human beings. Are we not better than that?
And I never made the argument for legality. This is all a moral issue here.
Sure.
I mean, whatever, the guy getting shot and all of that, and whether he asked for it or not, that's fine. But when I go and I'm on social media and I watch a man antagonize people who have nothing to do with anything and calling little kids nigglets who don't deserve that.
Absolutely
that is
criminal.
That is behavior in which somebody does have an attention motive and profit motive to garner themselves some attention in that aspect. And I want you guys to understand, we are interested in things that move the country forward.
Sure.
That type of stuff is not a net positive for society.
Well, you notice how we're not closing the show talking about Epstein or the economy. We're talking about this because this is one of the biggest stories in the nation right now. And why is it the biggest story in the nation? It's because it's picture perfect. It's everything they want us to do.
Exactly. Okay. And now you've got people that are going to be like, this is the new George Floyd situation. They're going to make this whole thing. And then you guys have no idea. You go outside of X. Go on Instagram, go on TikTok. There's millions of people. Go on Facebook. There's millions of people that also disagree with all those people on X. And we are about to be in another unnecessary situation because people are not thinking about what the country needs, and they get away with the Epstein files, they get away with the fraud, they get away with the corruption because people can't just decide that's not important right now. This is. And that is why we started this show, to shed light on the most important matters.
It's always in God's hand. Ultimately, it's his will, and his will is going to be done. You know, I'm grateful to live on this planet. I'm grateful to be a human being. I'm grateful to, you know, have such wonderful experiences with so many amazing people. And I just want to tell you all right now, just like Tim is saying, but even beyond that, go out there and touch grass, go out there and meet people, go out there and talk about, you know, your shared values, your shared community. That's what's important right now. They want us to lose the human aspect to our society. They want to take that away. They think of people as like economic units, and we're not that. We're human beings.
And nationalism has degraded. We are no longer proud of our country, and we should be proud of our country because everyone wants to come here for a reason. Everyone looks at America almost as a big brother in certain aspects, because when we are on the right side of history, we do affect a positive change within society for everybody.
The car, the internet, the phone, World War II. You can think about a lot of these things, right? But you can also think about what we've done recently. Let's skew the balance back into the good. I think that was a great show.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
We love you. Tune in tomorrow. I think Rex is going to be doing a live stream in the morning.
American Journal,
American Journal
live.
You will catch me Tuesday live with him in the morning. We appreciate you guys. We love you. Hope that this message found somebody tonight.
Take it easy.
Peace.
Modern life has left us out of balance. Long ago it was once said, certain remedies could grant a man the vitality of a horse.